we started our little broadcast. I wonder if YouTube will put out notifications.
Yeah, it's usually slow in doing so.
I know.
I wonder if YouTube's getting overwhelmed. A lot of people are uploading a lot of stuff, even myself, because I'm off of work for like 3 weeks, maybe even longer, from my day job.
Yeah, I have not gotten the email that I sent out, but you got it, right?
It was popping up, and that was only because I was editing footage because I went flying today. I isolated away from people, but I went flying. I flew over Apple Park. It's all shut down and closed.
Let me see. Watch on view page.
I know it popped. Yeah. Let me check mine.
Yeah, there it is. There's Brad. Good morning, Brad.
Cool. What's going on, Bob? How you doing, Drone Kings in Darwin? What's that guy's name?
It's Brad.
Brad. All right. What's up, Brad?
I gotta pop the chat out. Okay, now kill my email. Yeah, so I was noticing, man, all my stuff was getting killed in YouTube.
Was that the stuff you uploaded? Was that old footage that you remastered and uploaded?
That was footage I had already taken, but I was trying the different upload settings that YouTube recommends. Because I don't know if it's just me, but I noticed that some of my footage was jittery.
You know what? I think if you upload it in too high of, is it megabits or megabytes?
Yeah, it's megabits.
Okay, so if you upload it too high, you get all that pixelation in your video. And I've done it before, and I did it the other day. I just uploaded a video whooping in the backyard, and it was like the full render because I did it on Luma Fusion and sent it over to my laptop and then upload it because it took forever to do it straight from the app from Luma Fusion. So it took a while. But yeah, now the video, it looks good in like 2K. 4K looks all right, but 1080 looks very pixelated. It's weird. But I'm sure it was the same way you were processing your stuff.
It just gave me a message.
What's up, Andrew? Silver Fox or Silver Fox?
I think it's Silver Fox.
Oh, okay. Timeless Treats. What's up? How you doing?
I noticed I have a lot of internet companies.
Pro Sandry. How you doing?
Trucks.
What was that? What was that?
I got a lot of Spectrum internet trucks around me going on. We have our service changed from Time Warner to Bright House. Now it's Spectrum, which is owned by Charter.
Okay. Now, out here in the West Coast, it's all Comcast or Comcast.
Yeah, and no options, right?
Oh no, they black market this area, monopolized it.
Nah, I can't stand that. Hey, boys. So anyway, I was going through my videos on this HD TV, this UHD TV, 4K TV. And I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think so because I had Ron try and check it out. And he said, yeah, some were skipping.
That first one you uploaded, I seen looked great. It looked clear, but maybe it processed after a while. Look down what Drone Kings and Darwin post. I saw something that YouTube may be dropping video quality for the moment, not confirmed. They've changed a lot of the interface. It looks so different, and maybe they're just going through. I don't know. Could be a massive overload of people on there uploading videos. Who knows? What's up, Thomas O'Sullivan? How you doing?
It sent me a note that says, having trouble connecting, please check your internet connection. How the heck would I do that?
Your guess is good as mine. Maybe someone in the chat knows. There he is, Adrian McDale.
Adrian!
What's going on, Jimbo? What's going on, Al Diaz?
What's up, Adrian? How you doing?
Tomas, good to see you, Bob.
Man. Mr. Tomas, Bob's out there. Joe Life RC. How you doing?
So, is everybody in the world updating videos now or putting videos up now that they all have to stay home?
I cheated. Yeah, I cheated.
Every day.
I'm at a shelter in place and I'm off of work for 3 weeks paid, but a lot of people may not know I'm an educator. I work with special needs students and they're post-secondary. So they're out looking for jobs. I need job coaching to make sure they're doing everything right, and things of that nature. But anyway, it's a different setting because usually everything's hands-on, but yeah, everything's is distance learning. So
What state are you in, Al?
I'm in California, Bay Area, dude. San Francisco, San Jose, Silicon Valley, the mecca of all the crap. Yeah.
Bob Casey.
Drone Life RC and Tomas joined us. What were you telling me, Al? Who?
Oh, I went out this afternoon and we got a shelter in place, but you know, I've gone out and I biked and there's a lot of people liking trails and walking. And it's good to see that stuff. And but man, it hit serious today because I got a text from my sister saying she was tested positive and a couple of other members of the family. So, and then she actually, I think she acquired it because she works as in accounting at a racetrack. So actually the person who initially, somebody passed away. I guess it was one of the jockeys or something like that, or trainer. And I guess they go up to the floor she's on. And then the next week, two more guys died. And there was like 7 people, total people at Yonkers Raceway in New York City. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So she texted me this morning. Yeah, dude. So she texted me this morning and she told me, I should say this afternoon. Sorry about that. Hey, Bill, Coast to Coast Drones.
Hey, if you guys don't know, you see Drone and Sundry in the chat?
Yeah, I did see it up on the top.
They do the news every week, every Tuesday.
I've never seen them before. I'll have to sub to them. I gotta get on them.
You got to check them out. Drone and Sundry. They do a lot of what's happening in the world. You'll see Bruce on there and Ian. You know, Bruce XJet. Everybody knows XJet and RC Mono reviews, right?
Yeah.
And Ian is Mad RC. I always listen to Ian because he was doing the Descendants remote controller and all the buttons you can push and all that. And Gary, mine turned out to have a flight controller problem on the Matrice 210 RTK.
Did you ever get that fixed?
No.
In the process?
It's got to go to California, but what I'm doing now is downloading all the flight records from Air Data, so I can prove that it was it
was an operator error.
A warranty. Yeah, it wasn't me. It was a warranty. Because it had been happening a while. One time when it was, I was doing a highway, and it was 5,000 feet from me, and it disconnected for like 2 minutes. I remember Steve Carpenter and I were talking about that. There's Bill from Coast to Coast Drones.
Yeah, it Bill's was out there, Steve. Hey, Steve.
When that thing's 5,000 feet away, and you know we're over Florida Department of Transportation construction, you got a lot to worry about.
That's a light bridge, right? The transmission on that, or is it OcuSync?
It's light bridge too. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But I
Same
have
thing as an Inspire too.
I have the thing weighs a ton. It's got the crystal sky, and then you've got the patch.
You could do some curls with that thing.
Yeah.
Get a lift on.
It's an outfit and a half. That's for damn sure.
Shit. That's huge.
And then this is a directional antenna.
Wow. What's the range you get on that?
Oh, I don't go more than 2 miles out. If I can't see it, that's too much in the air for me to play with not being able to see it.
Well, that's an expensive rig you got there. How much you paid? About 20 G's because you got the X5S on it?
Got the X5S and the Z30, which is right there behind me.
Oh, Z30, yeah, that's about 2,800, $3,000.
Now, yeah, it's down to that now.
That's expensive. Yeah, I got rid of my Inspire too, man. I would use it for a couple of jobs, and it was just kind of sitting there, and I got rid of it. I kind of felt bad, and I could have used extra money, so I got rid of it.
Can you guys hear me? Do I need my earpiece?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Sound great.
Can you hear me
Look
pretty
good.
Okay, all right.
I'll say thanks to Gary at Drone and Sundry for popping by. I always have arguments with Patrick Egan. If you got to read his articles. He's been backing this thing since I guess 2004, with Drone and Sundry. He does the SUAS news.
Is that a European, obviously, kind of like Geeksvana?
It's they got Nikolai on there, and
I see.
like Altitude Angel was on there tonight. They do an early Tuesday show. I think it's 5 o'clock Florida time, Eastern Standard Time.
All right, I subbed him right now. And ring his bell.
All right, there, Gary. See, you're getting a few more. It even if it's too technical for you, it's related to you because, like Altitude Angel was talking UTMs tonight, unmanned traffic management.
Uh-huh.
And I've got companies like L3 Harris here in Melbourne, Florida, and Grumman Northrop or Northrop Grumman, whatever they want to call themselves now,
Uh-huh.
that are hiring like madmen for these unmanned traffic systems and the space related, because NASA's getting involved too. It's all going to be.
Are you involved in it? Do you have contracts with them or something? Or is that something you're looking to get involved with?
No. You get a lot of these companies will hire you, but they want you to come on board.
Oh, okay.
They want you in-house.
So you get an hourly rate.
So like
Probably
with Florida Power and Light, it's a subcontractor deal.
So they 1099 you.
They got their own pilots too.
Oh, so you're not a subcontractor? Or are you work?
I subcontract. I don't work
so you are
for them.
1099. Okay. Yeah, I had that opportunity for a company that was doing PG&E. I think Mel was doing it. And I know he had NDA, but they reached out to me and they told me it was from San Luis Obispo all the way up to the Oregon border. I would only come home on weekends. I would have to train. I'll start off as a visual operator, man. If I was younger, I probably dove into it right away.
I remember when that came out, I saw it on Pixhawk or what was the something
Precision
IO.
Hawk.
Yeah,
I think it started Precision Hawk.
And it was supposed to be $1,000 a week and all that, but it never turned out to that.
I didn't even get in depth in regards to how much the pay was. I forgot what Aerial Hawk might have been the company. Yeah, I think there was something like that. I can't even remember. Yeah, but obviously I didn't jump on it. What's up, Night Train?
I didn't either. I wasn't going to move there for that.
I think Bell did it though.
He did it but it turned out that it was a dead end contract. They didn't get renewed to continue on.
Oh, really? Okay.
Was that the time around the Paradise Fires, Steve?
Hey, Steve. How you doing?
Fine, Al. What was that?
Was that when they were doing that whole inspection, like when Mel was on there doing that? Was that around the times of the Paradise Fires?
That was all because of after the fire.
Wait, wasn't PG&E responsible for the fire?
It turned out to be, yes, it was. For the one, and then there's a major multi-billion-dollar lawsuit for the other.
What's up, Steve Carpenter?
Yes, it is. What's up, man?
Hey, Jim, do me a favor,
Good evening
sir.
to you, sir.
I'm doing all right. Jim, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to give everybody a chance to talk, okay? Because when you stop running your mouth, jaw-jocking, you don't let nobody talk.
Flapping the gums. Precision Hawk are not long for this world. Look at that. Drone and Sundry says Precision Hawk is not long for this world. I'll tell you what, they're turning into drone-based. Drone and Sundry is Gary. Gary over at Drone and Sundry and SUAS News is with Patrick Egan. Yeah, and he's always got a good Tuesday show. Been in the game for years. He's over in South Africa, so it's 2 a.m. for him.
Shit.
Hey, Dean. Miko, Texas.
Hey, Dean, what's up?
Precision Hawk is turning into another drone base. Now, I've looked on Facebook, and I don't know if you guys know, when I was going to buy an infrared camera, Drone Base was also competing to buy up all the cameras so that they can rent them back to the people who work for them and then pay you $40 to go take a thermal picture or thermal analysis. I mean, it's getting pathetic.
I'm not going to lie to you. When I first started off 4 years ago, because I had my second reoccurrent coming up, I did those jobs. I did them because I needed something in the portfolio. And in the long run, it probably shot me in the foot. But they try to reach out to me on occasion. And in occasion, they have maybe one job in a year that maybe they send me 5 emails. that it's decent. But when it's all said and done, the length of the drive you're doing and
Yeah.
what you're doing, you would charge a whole lot more. But
and
they
for
lowball
guys
you.
who haven't looked at the, what do you want to call them, Al? The ads or the listing? It always
they're like
says
they're like a third party app. Droners.io is an actual website, and you can sign up if you're part 107. I've gotten some decent jobs from there, but I also got some requests for lowball jobs. Excuse me.
Yeah. When I look at them, it's always $100, but the first line is always no editing necessary. Only going to take 15 minutes. You know.
I've gotten reeled into those jobs that you go out that you bid for, and you do the budget $250, and come to find out when you get the shot list, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So when you get out there, you do it, and then you just remind yourself not to bid on that person's job again.
And they do. They have ridiculous shot lists. Besides the northeast, southwest kind of angles, they've got, I don't know who sits down and plans these things, but it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well,
and they'll say,
doesn't the client give all the specs to them?
I don't know who is writing the ads, but they're very similar. All the ads are very similar. Because they all say they're only going to take 15 minutes, no editing needed, all this nonsense. Right, Al?
Yes, they do. But hey, you know what? After about a year of being on there, I started realizing, man, and they tell you can't do it and they could drop you off. I started kind of like pumping my own company. Like, you know, hey, let's do this on the side. Let's not contact me. And a couple of them did it. So that it kind of paid off in the long run. But I guess it depends where you're at. You know what I mean? If you're in an area where there's a lot of work and you move in there and you're just starting off, it works out. But in the long run, you wind up shooting yourself in the foot. Because like you said, shot lists are long.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's too much time out there. Definitely wouldn't do the lowball price. Not what they have out. It's ridiculous.
And there's never travel time in it, and you have to decide whether you're going to drive 100 miles or 50 miles. You know, it's ridiculous. But I know that while I was doing a job for Wawa, which is a Pennsylvania company, I was doing the weekly progress videos for the developer of the convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, while I've already got the contract, there was a thing on Drone Base and Precision Droners.io for $90 to go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I already had a couple of $100 a week contract to do it.
Yeah, I just stay away from the low ball ones. After a while, you realize it doesn't help you out in the long run.
If they want that crap, if they want the standard, the drones are still being put out with the standard 1/2 CMOS cameras and all that. Look at Skydio 2. Look at what's that new handheld thing that I saw in Vegas?
The scrambled egg.
Yeah, the egg drone and oh my God, all of them. There's no new tech in that area except for Autel is going to squeeze the pixels down to 0.8 ohms. Or microns.
That was Jim and I went round and round about an hour and a half trying to figure that out one night.
Steve, did you go too? Or was Steve with you, Jim? Over in Vegas?
No.
We're talking about the Autel. How are they getting 8K cameras?
8K camera.
Oh, isn't
They're
that
taking
for
the pixel size and going like this?
Wow.
It's
like a camera phone.
I've been there before several times. It's been about 4 years or 5 years since I've been to CES. Because my business, I used to deal a lot with computers and stuff. And back when it used to be Comdex, the computer convention, and then they more or less wrapped everything up, and Comdex went by the wayside and folded themselves into the Consumer Electronics Show. But it's a zoo. Like I kept on telling Jim, I go, rest up, take comfortable shoes, take emergency.
There's nowhere to sit. There's nowhere to sit.
Hand sanitizer.
Let me tell you something. I stood next to 18
that's when you
million
got sick, right,
Chinese
Jim?
people for 4 days. If I don't have the Iran-Contra virus, nobody's going to get it.
That's when you got sick, right, Jim, for like a week?
That was because of my back. I've had 4 back fusions. There was no way to sit. For 4 days, you're standing on your feet.
Because you were a jackass.
Well, you could have worn comfortable shoes. And then it took me 2 days to get home. I wound up sleeping in the Atlanta airport. What a joke. And there was no new tech. The only new tech was the Pegasus drone I showed you guys that has the tank tracks on the bottom. You know, the thing that killed me is everybody's going to the plastic propellers. Adrian, like the master screws are plastic.
I don't know. I mean, I won't say that they completely like just plastic. I mean, they're pretty. Maybe not the same material, the regular, blades, the propellers, but I mean they're pretty good. What's going on, Ron?
Yeah, the master screw air props, whatever they're called.
Yeah,
fumbling my lips. Are great props. I like them. They're quiet. They make it quiet.
I love them.
And the orange you could see from a little bit farther than you would normally.
I haven't put them on yet because I was really leaving them as a backup set. But maybe I'll just
throw them on.
I had that one cracked propeller.
Throw them on. Definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll notice the difference.
On my Mavic Pro, it's quieter, and I've gotten almost a minute longer flight time because I had them on the batteries, and I just went through a reconditioning process on all my batteries. So it'll be interesting to see how much longer they'll go. But on the old charge, from charge to charge versus the quiet, which were the platinum Mavic Platinum props, the low noise props.
Yeah.
I got almost a minute more of flight time with the master air screw.
That's crazy. But you got to remember that you can't stay in a hover. Don't count the time taking a hover because you're fighting your own prop wash. If you go slow.
I a hover just on purpose to give it as a time test. So, it's apples to apples, not apples to oranges.
They say it's supposed to increase the flight time. I don't know. I've never tested it, but I definitely know you can see the orange one. The orange one's farther away, and it is a lot quieter than the normal OEM props.
Mm-hmm.
Throw them on, dude.
They're orange, all right. And that's the reason I got the orange. I figured, everyone else is trying to hide. I want to see the damn thing.
Yeah.
But this whole plastic thing just kills me. Look at that.
I know. When I opened them first, I did the same thing, man. But I've used them a long time now on both the Zoom and the Pro, and they're awesome. And they're great to see when I'm out at the job site, like the construction sites I do progress monitoring for. Yeah, they're perfect. You can see them. That's what you want to be able to do too.
Yeah, I do. And that's exactly why I got the orange.
Hey, Aldiaz, I got a couple of questions for you, sir.
What's up, bro?
Comes to your part 107. How long did it take for you to get that?
I was the second wave of, I guess, the second group of people that went to go get it done. I got it in September. Was it 2016? So I have my. I took the first recurrent, and I passed that, and my second one's coming up in August. So I'll take it probably late August. Give myself some time. I did this. I studied on Remote Pilot 101. It's a great course.
Yeah.
And it's easy. He goes through it, man. That guy's really great. It's just interesting to go through the whole process with, the whole map reading and all that stuff. So basically, you're taking like a pilot's written exam. So Ron, you probably know about that, right? Yeah. So and you could probably get part 61. Aren't you a pilot?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I went on Remote Pilot 101, and it worked great for me. And just studied that way.
I never paid a dime. I took the FAA tests and all that, and I read that. Who's that camera guy that put out that hour-long video?
Oh, Chelsea and
Norton.
Oh, I can't think of his name.
I know.
Neither can I. Her name. because she's better looking. She's more attractive than he is.
Yeah, yeah. I just watched their video and then read up on it, and then when I took my recurrency, it was a lot easier. There was just questions that were strictly flight related.
Well, they didn't have any METAR questions. They didn't have any weather questions. So funny thing you mentioned that, because the first time I took it, I scored an 80. Second time I took it, I got like a 97.
Yeah.
So the recurrent is definitely easier.
So once you become a member, is that like a lifetime membership?
No, it's only 2 years, and you got a. Well, you talk about Remote Pilot 101.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. I paid $99. It was worth it when I first got it. I think it's $150 now, and then you could probably get a discount code from somebody.
Ken Heron.
And, Ken Heron, there you go.
I already got one from Heron. I think Heron 18.
Oh, yeah.
Like a $50 discount, I believe.
Yeah. It's good. You want to make some money and fly? There you go. I mean, if you'll get some clients if you can go out there and kind of hustle for your stuff.
And I understand, but how do you even start doing it? Did somebody contacted you, or you just started calling people? Calling people around for jobs.
You can't call. I don't know about
no,
how.
You can't. You can't call.
You have to go. You go to a construction site. You find out who the developer is or the actual contractor,
general contractor, superintendent,
and that you talk. If you're lucky and find a guy 60 and below, maybe.
The first time I got lucky because a buddy of mine is a superintendent at a construction company, and I do a lot of their functions and when they have outdoor exterior work, and sometimes indoor, I fly indoors. If you go on my website, you can see it on the top of the video. But I've done work for them, and when I first started, I was like, you know what? Let me do a video for you guys. Let me shoot, get some footage, and then if you like it, you guys can look me up, and I'll set a price for you guys, and we'll go from there. So I did the first one of the building they did. It was a law firm out in Mountain View, and they loved it. And I flew my drone inside, and everything and they really dug it. So they started calling me up, and then before I knew it, I was doing jobs for them.
And pricing is the hardest thing in the world to do.
It is. It could be so different because it's so broad. There's so many different things.
That was my next question. Like, how do you even start giving them a price, for like, shots?
When I first started off, I probably was lowballing myself, but I just wanted to get in there, and they say when you do that, you hurt the industry as you go further in, because it starts to oversaturate. More people come in, the price, you drop it, and it's horrible. But I had to do that, get my feet wet. And then it kind of changed. Yeah, exactly. And then you got your portfolio from that, and then you build on that, and then you use that as advertisement to show on your website, and then you have people start calling you in inquiries.
But you start off with 4K perfect pictures and perfect video, because your quality is what's going to set you apart.
You're going to have to step up and probably get like a 1-inch sensor. You know what I mean, Adrian? Like a Pro, or even a Phantom 4 Pro. I got a Phantom 4 Pro back here. I bought V1. I sold my old one. I wish I never did that. And I went out and rebought another one.
You can do real estate. I mean, some of those guys are just looking for that. Somebody told them that they have to have 20 megapixels. Somebody told them that.
I've had requests, and they ask 20 megapixel camera, nothing less. And then they put the drones. Of course, the drones everybody's aware of, the consumer drones. Yep. They're not putting a Matrice 210 or anything like that. But that's like the average, or what they would want. Anything other than that, they won't hire you. And then some people, you go in there, like construction companies, they won't even know, and you may get away with something that's smaller than that, 2/3 micro 2/3 or something.
Exactly. As long as it looks great, how the heck are they going to know between 16 and 20 megapixels? Come on.
I'm going to be honest. The people I've worked with, there's only a few of them that request DNG photos, raw photos, and like 265 raw video footage. Very few.
I haven't had any. I can get away with the 264, and I send them besides Dropbox, I'll send them the SD card.
Yeah, I did a shoot for a property management group, and their client was doing 3D graphics. They needed aerial footage of this lot, and the lot had buildings in there, and they wanted shots done at different time. Well, they're going to take those shots, I guess, into their CAD system and actually built the build and
you can
render
do 3D modeling.
Yeah, it was awesome. They sent me what the picture was look. I sent them my photos I took were raw DNG, and then they showed me, okay, Al, this is what we need next time. Do it this way, and take it with the sun coming down and at this time. And then the video footage too. Can you when you take this video footage, can you make sure that the trolley or the train is coming down the tracks? And then they just do 3-dimensional stuff and add their artwork to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Because AutoCAD, when you can bring that in, like you're saying, you can do the 3D modeling.
Yeah.
I know when I was at SpinUp the first year, I had a chance to talk with Billy Kyle, and he was doing it with. He started doing the mapping for his dad when he first started, and he gave the file to a friend of his that did AutoCAD. He didn't even tell him, so he took it in and he took it, modeled it, and then turned around, and the guy did 3D printing. So the image that he made, the model of this home that his dad had built, then he 3D printed the whole entire home.
Nice.
And I forget how many days that printer went for.
Can you imagine that? Yeah. Because you're talking about, I don't know, there's hundreds, if not sometimes thousands of shots you're taking in order to get the photogrammetry.
Well, you can also do for 3D modeling, you can, as far as if you want to draw stuff, and it's free. It's called SketchUp. It's by Google.
Yeah.
And you can go online and do it. You sign up for it. And
there's even stuff on your PC right now. Just type in 3D in your box. It's got 3D software right on here.
Okay, now another thing, LDS, for example, you don't have to like give me any type of information, but I'm just kind of curious. When it comes to what you do with your Part 107, I'm assuming that will be your own little hustle you're doing on the side. So I'm assuming
it is. It's not that's not like my prime job.
No. When you do your pictures of videos and you're using your Part 107, flying your drone for a job, I'm assuming that's your personal thing you're doing yourself, right?
No, he's got a business.
No.
So that's what you do for a living?
No. I just said I have a day job. I've been doing it for, God, it's going on 21 years. I'm an educator, dude. I work with mild, moderate students.
You do that on the side, right?
I do that on the side. So after work, I get off pretty early, and I set up all my work if I'm to do it at that time. After, if not, I do it on the weekends where there's nobody around. A lot of the stuff I do is progress shoots at construction sites and commercial real estate. So it varies. And a lot of the stuff is like take JPEG pictures. A lot of them are not asking for DNG unless you're doing it for someone that's using AutoCAD, like I said before. Yeah. But there's slow times though, dude. It's not like
you're not going to get rich.
Yeah, you're not going to get rich. There'll be some great experience. I did a job for Airbnb up at in Santa Rosa, and I was out there for 12 hours, and they paid me for $150 an hour because the crane that they were supposed to bring in didn't show up. So they're like, okay, we need you to stay here. And I was like, well, yeah, but if I stay here, I want to get paid. And they were like, okay, but it might not be here this time. Well, they treated me to lunch, and I did out of 11 hours, I did 2 hours of flying. So that was a great gig. And you get to know the people and stuff like that. And there was a mock-up. There was a mock-up build of a small little house. It was weird. I had to fill out, it was like almost a year ago, so I don't care. But I had to fill out an NDA, not tell anybody where it was at. They had it covered, so people in around the area, and it was like a country. Santa Rosa in California is really like a country area. Homes are separated. There's not very much neighbors next to each other. But there was a lot of people, they told me, that were asking questions. and there was an actual mock-up for a company that does this nostalgic type furniture. But yeah, I shot the aerial footage for them. Got paid for 11 hours, $150 an hour, and only flew for 2 hours. And I brought my Inspire 2, but flew their Inspire 2. I didn't even have to fly my rig. I flew their rig. They didn't have a 107 pilot. The M600 Pro, Jim, I flew that 3 days for a company that put an air analyzer on it, and they brought a hydrogen tank, and I was out in the park in controlled airspace, but because I had my license through Lance, I got cleared. They fired up their gas, and they just, hey, can you fly in lawnmower pattern? Can you fly this way? Can you fly this way? And it was probably maybe 100 yards worth of flying. The first time I've ever flew an M600 Pro, but I didn't let them know that because I knew it was the same controller as the Inspire 2.
Yep.
So I had no fear flying it. In fact, that thing flew a lot better than any drone I've ever flown.
Yeah, this
including the Inspire 2. Oh, the Hexcopter. Oh my God, that thing had like I think 6 batteries or something like that.
Yeah,
so that was a blast.
They sit heavy in the air.
Oh yeah, but it maneuvered pretty well and it hovered. Awesome. You could throw probably like a nice camera on there and get some good cinematic shots. But it was an air analyzer on it. There was no gimbal.
Oh.
Now, I don't have Lance around here. MCO, Orlando just got Lance. Or Lank, whatever you want to call it. So I have a COA, Certificate of Authorization for my airspace.
So basically you're going through a manual process to get your stuff. Right?
I've got a 2-year COA.
Okay, so you can do your jobs around there for 2 years.
Yeah. Every 2 years I have to re-up.
Wow. What's up, Ron?
Hey, I kind of caught the tail end of what you were saying, I think, a little bit. Jim and I have been talking the last day or two. So what kind of conversation did you have as far as what you're downloading to YouTube or uploading to YouTube as far as your videos, as far as frame rate and your megabyte?
Jim was talking about him having issues with loading up his footage from prior, and he loaded up the wrong setting, and it didn't look right. It was pixelated. And I told him, the funny thing, I uploaded something the other day, yesterday, and it was just Osmo action footage, but it looked clean. And when I uploaded it to YouTube, it would look very pixelated at 1080. Right. So I think it was like 100 or 85 megabytes. And Jim, I think you said you have to do it like at 58, 60.
Yeah,
actually read the comment Dean put on there. Yeah, Dean put a comment on there.
Let's talk while we're looking at it, and I hope you can see this because it's on the other screen. On YouTube's recommendations, when you go under bitrate, can we even see that?
No.
Okay, let me bring it over to this. Let me stop sharing and bring it over to my main screen.
Oh, can you enlarge it?
What?
Just enlarge it. Hit your control when your mouse is over that screen.
It's 43 inches.
I know, but when your mouse is over the screen, hit your control key and run your mouse wheel up. It should enlarge it.
Let me just do this. Share screen.
No, I've done 50 and 100. And for some reason, I think I've overheard recently that if you download or upload it at 100 megabytes per second, then YouTube has a tendency to want to compress it too much.
That's it, dude. That's exactly what happened to my footage, and I think Ron was experienced. I uploaded at the highest quality, and it looks like crap on YouTube.
Yeah, that was my problem. I had to, first of all, I was using the default settings on PowerDirector, and that is wrong. You have to start your project. If you shot in 4K 60, you have to start your project at the 60-bit frame rate. Set the project at 60 frame rate, not 30. And the default is 24. Well, now, if you look at what YouTube wants for standard definition color, if you're shooting in 30 frames, you got to upload between 35 and 45 megabits a second. This is the basic 4K.
I never knew this existed. I just took a screenshot of that. Right on, thanks.
Now, for my 60, when you're up, because YouTube will decide whether it's going to use VP9 codec or AV1 codec. And the VP9 is what you want. So you always want to upload in 4K. And there's another reason. YouTube will promote 4K videos over 1080p videos. Don't ask me why. I don't have any idea. That's just the words from the Creators Insider, YouTube's Creators Insider. So when I set up my bitrate, the reason I put out the 3 videos the other day was Ron and I were testing it out. I put one out at 53,000 kilobits. I put one out at 100,000 kilobits, and then I did the other one. Was the other one 83, Ron?
You did 53, 100, and I think that other one was around 83, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so once you get up to the high dynamic resolution instead of the standard dynamic resolution, if somebody's watching your video on their 4K TV at home, you want them to see what kind of work you can put out. If you're shooting in 30 for high dynamic resolution, you have to make sure that you at least uploaded it to 44 to 56 megabytes. Now, PowerDirector puts it in terms of kilobytes. So I have to type in 56,000 kilobytes.
So if you go over that amount, will the lesser quality footage look like crap when you show it, like 1080?
Well, what was happening was, I think, not everybody agrees, I think some of my videos that are up there in 4K are jittery.
Yeah.
I see the one you first push out, and Steve made a comment on that. And maybe by the time I looked at it, it maybe processed better or something, but it looked clean. I didn't see any jitters.
Here's another thing. YouTube recommends that you put up your videos as unlisted and then have them there for 2 hours before you make them public. Because if you put your video up immediately, it's going to come out in either 340 or 480 or 720p. The music is not always going to be up there or synchronized. So they suggest you leave it up for 2 hours and then put it as public. And then it'll be 4K with the audio synchronized and all that jazz. If you're taking screenshots, I got this under the YouTube help.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Hey, Jim, can you send that to me?
Yeah. This is under their help
Ron,
center.
The other day before I put out that Whoop footage video, I tried to export it straight from Luma Fusion app from my iPad Pro. And man, did it take forever to process. I mean, it didn't even process. It was still in the loop and buffering for maybe 4 hours before I just I just uploaded and it looked like crap and I took it off again.
All right, now
do you have how do you export your 4K footage from Luma Fusion? What megabytes are you using? The same.
I used to use 100. Now I've been going down to 50. I'd like to, that last video I just did was at 50, but I go direct. I've done it 2 ways, and there's 2 schools of thought on it. I've saved the video like on my iPad if I'm using that. I've saved it to my photos, folder on the iPad, and then upload it to YouTube. And I've also gone direct from Luma Fusion right direct to YouTube. And I have found that times that I have saved it, even though I'm saving it like 4K 30 or whatever the case may be, to my photos folder, then uploading to YouTube, I've found so many occasions where when I go to open it up in YouTube, even after a couple hours, it's not in 4K. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
So now I go right direct to YouTube.
Now, this is a question I have for you guys because I found this out and I have a Mac. and or MacBook.
I'm sorry.
I was uploading stuff in the beginning using Safari, and it was 4K footage, and I put 4K on it, and then people's like, it's not rendering 4K, it's 1080. You can't see it in 4K. But I found out through trial and error, if you go to Google Chrome and upload your footage using Google Chrome and it's 4K, it will render 4K and you could see it in 4K in Google Chrome. Whereas in Safari, you can't. It's weird. It just might be an iOS thing.
I'm still here, but I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay.
That's because everything wants to be proprietary for Google.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the whole bit. You know, Alphabet owns everybody, so they're different divisions, and they want to keep everything more or less proprietary for their own use.
I was trying to search and get research in regards to it, couldn't find it anywhere, and just one day I happened to play with it and fell upon it, and I was like, no way, this is it. I just got to use Google Chrome to upload any video I have. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, in the videos that I was putting up, now Steve knows how long this goes back, because the last job he said to me, okay, this one looks good. I always shoot in 4K 60. If I'm got the drone going at 30 miles an hour, I've got this thing in 4K 60. But PowerDirector was putting it up at 4K 30, and then YouTube was murdering it. What, Ron?
You were before you said it was putting it up at 4K 24, because that's what you said that the default was.
The PowerDirector, let me bring that PowerDirector up. The PowerDirector default was 24. Now, even if you go through,
if you shot it at 30 FPS and you put it on a 24 timeline, I think it's going to look jittery. But I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll look like it's like that old the old video back in the days. You know, they do the time lapse motion and stuff like that. It'll start flickering.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't
if
so
it's 4K
bad.
30, yeah.
Right, Steve? I mean, because my videos are still up. I mean, they've got the watches. If you got 1,000 watches, I'm not going to take them down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nobody tells you in the comments, hey, Jim, that's jittery. And if I even make a comment, and this happened the other day, I said to somebody, that footage looks flat. If I tell you that, I'm telling you that I want to know what settings you used and all that. I need to find a nice way to ask these questions. You know what I mean?
You should go out to anyone, you would want to know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to know if my footage stinks.
It looks like shit. Tell me.
Yeah.
Remember, guys. I mean, we're scrutinizing 4K, right? You're talking about it,
right?
I know, Jim. You have a 4K monitor up there now,
right?
Al, do you have a 4K in front of you?
I have a 2.7K 4K TV though, but that does no good for me if I'm editing it.
A 4K screen?
Hey, Art.
No. Hello, Art.
Yeah, Art. Ron's got a 4K TV.
I got a 4K TV. I was watching Jim's stuff the other day.
Yeah.
You know, another thing to try, Jim, is I can't remember who it was. It's one of the big guys on YouTube, but like he was shooting with the Mavic Pro 2, which you're only going to get 4K 30, but he was starting his project, setting up his project at 4K 60, and then slowing down the speed down to like 85%, and it was making stuff look really, really smooth. What's up, Art?
Art and I are playing through you here, Ron. Yeah, because when Jim put up those videos, not the last ones here, but this is going back a couple of months, and then he had that conversation with Matt North, and they talked about rendering the in PowerDirector and finding the difference. Jim posted that one up there. Well, I put I bought a computer and turned it into a media center for my family room. So there I've got my 60-inch screen in there. I played the original video, which I told him was awesome. But then when I went, because these are 1080s that I'm on, I've got dual 1080s here. And then I played it on that 4K, and my mouth just went, because I'm an electrical contractor. And when I'm sitting there looking and I can count the twists in the wire on the high tension wires going across, our host bumped himself off. I just sat there just in total awe looking at that, because you could see the wraps on the high tensile, high power line wires as he was flying it. And you went back to his previous one that he did the same video, but before he went through and rendered it correctly. What a difference. And what I told Jim he should do is keep his old videos up, go through, re-render them, and put it up and just say update or now an ultra 4K or something, and put it up there. And then people can go through and see the difference, and even put a note down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst thing I did. I had a whole bunch of stuff before my first YouTube video ever with the drone, and I deleted all that shit because it looked stupid. But, you know, it's time that you flew and memories and stuff like that. I wish I never got rid of them. So you shouldn't delete your stuff there.
No, not at all.
Just leave it. Oh, look at that. Nice.
Yeah, and this is what I got last week on a police auction website.
What? How much you paid for it?
Police
$6.
How much? What you said, Art?
60.
$60?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I just had this whole thing locked up that said Google Chrome locked up. Threw me off.
Huh.
I have no idea what happened. Now, Chris, is Chris in there? I have to, hold on. How do I remove Adrian and bring Chris in? Okay.
There we go.
Hey, Chris. How you doing, man?
Yeah, right there. Fist bump.
There you go. Now, Chris, have you had any?
No, we'll be safe. We'll do elbow bump.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Our squares are not far enough away.
What is everybody using to upload, and do they have to change their encoding settings? I do.
I use VideoPad editor. It's cheap. It's free. I make my videos, edit them, cut them, and post it. 1080.
What do you use, Chris?
It's called VideoPad, video editor.
VideoPad? How much is it? A free app or a paid?
No, it's a free, and it's a free cheat. You gotta go to YouTube to get the key to keep it unlocked.
Oh,
yeah. I downloaded. Dennis Lovelady. What did he tell me to get? VideoPad video editor is what I use, and I got DaVinci Resolve on here, but it's just over my head.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, it's really confusing. VideoPad, video editor for me is simple. I can take 2 hours of footage and make a 10-minute video in about 3 hours.
You're a
It
PC?
does. It takes that long, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For everybody to edit, it takes
Do
forever.
what, right?
Oh, you're on a PC, right?
I got a little laptop.
Okay.
Yeah. That was you, Al. I'm sorry.
how are you liking Luma Fusion?
What was that?
How are you liking Luma Fusion?
Luma Fusion, I'm getting used to it. I still like doing Final Cut Pro. It's just like I got to proxy my 4K footage. Like today I went out and shot some footage in 4K and come back, you throw it on a timeline, man. It's suffering on my MacBook Pro, and then you throw it on the iPad Pro and it's ripping through it. The only thing with the iPad Pro and Luma Fusion I don't like is you don't have a stabilizer. So, you know, a lot of your shots don't look so smooth and fluid like they could on Final Cut Pro. So I kind of got to sacrifice and throw it on that.
It's 10 times.
It takes forever to render.
You brought it up a while ago. Quick question. How's my videos look since I'm sitting here talking to you guys?
I was going to say your videos look great, especially that one you shot with the reflection off the water. God, was that in the morning or
that was in the evening. That was in Arkansas, and that was with the Mavic Mini.
Dude, that looks stellar.
I like your sunsets.
Yeah, it looked great.
So
Yeah, Chris, you get some of the most beautiful sunsets down there.
Yeah.
I thought about, you know, a lot of these guys use Lightroom, not Lightroom, but the
Premiere.
Premiere Pro.
Uh,
I can't make myself go get it.
and you got to pay that monthly subscription too.
Right,
So
right. Now I
you
do.
don't really
I ain't
own
gonna tell the story. I do use Lightroom for my pictures because I can work with that. I can use that.
My problem was this thing has a real little wheel up there called preferences, and you see here it says 30 frames per second. You can't see that.
and say,
Yeah, but every time you start a project, you have to tell it what frame rate you're in. It'll go up to 60. And it defaults at 24. So like Al was saying before, okay, I'm going to try and make this bigger. Al was saying, no, Steve was saying before that I should try and re-render them and put them back up. I don't know how to do that. Steve, how do I make this bigger?
Just hold the control key down and spin your mouse pad. Just hold the mouse over whatever screen you're on.
Yeah.
And hit either the plus key or hold the control key down and the plus, or scroll your mouse key. Your wheel. Hold the control key down and just turn your mouse wheel.
Yeah,
zoom the screen.
It's changing the editing timeline.
Oh.
Nice.
I want to make that screen bigger so we can see what the hell I'm talking about.
Okay, hold the control key down, hit the plus key.
Okay. Yeah, doing that, nothing.
Oh.
Maybe because it's on the other screen? I don't know.
Good work.
But anyway, the preferences in here are what we're talking about. And up at the top, they're project preferences. So before you ever start, you should set that. I have to set that to what I'm going to be working in, whether it's 30 frames a second or 60. And man,
it's the same way with Final Cut Pro.
You do it ahead of time?
When you start a new project, you have to enter event, and then you put your settings, your hertz for your volume, and then it goes into the inspector, and then you're able to edit everything on your timeline. But sometimes I take it to compressor, and I compress it the megabytes even more, or I always get confused with that shit. Megabytes and you compress it, but I didn't do it with the footage I just uploaded, so that's why I think I uploaded it too high, like you were showing, and it looks all pixelated.
And then when you get into producing it, there's a little plus button here. You can hit that plus button and go to video, and it'll actually tell you, like this one says 6,000 kilobits a second. I can change this to what we just talked about, the 85,000 kilobits or 85 megabytes.
Right.
This way, I'm syncing it up with what YouTube wants. But they don't tell you that. First, you got to go to Profile Analyzer, have it analyze your footage. You get the best footage, and then you come over and hit because the defaults are terrible. It gives you 4 choices, like 2 for 1080, 2 for 4K. And the most it's got at 4K is 60 megabits. So the most I would ever get is standard dynamic resolution. I would never get the real, what we're looking for. So if I get rid of that, just hit that little plus button. It'll bring up the video details. It calls it quality picture setup. But when you click on the video section, you can change that to 4K, anything you want. None of this, I have seen none of this in any of the quick tips videos or professor, whatever they call it, university
Director University?
PowerDirector University, or any, I've never seen any of that in there.
So Jim, you use PowerDirector. Steve, you use PowerDirector. Chris, you said you're using VSCDC. Am I correct or wrong?
No, I have used that. What I'm using now is VideoPad, video editor.
Okay, VideoPad. And Ron, you're
VSDC is
I'm Luma Fusion and Final Cut.
and Art, what do you use?
I use Filmora.
Oh,
Wow.
I've used that before, Art. It's kind of a neat program.
now in each one. Do you all have to set up like I just had to do? You set up the project in the first place, right?
Right.
And then you start editing. And then when you go to produce, for God's sakes, if you're using PowerDirector, do not hit the online button and send it right to YouTube. It makes it a Windows Media video. It will not be your 4K quality video. So don't.
Everything's MP4 for me. That's what I upload everything. I always just upload it in 1080 because YouTube is 1080. So, I don't have anything 4K, and most Americans don't have anything 4K. So it's just 1080, and it don't take forever to render or upload. And, I'm gonna be honest with you. The film I did last weekend, I tried to do it in 4K 60. I spent 2 hours sitting there watching it go.
Yeah, I know.
And I quit. So I just went back to 1080, said heck with it.
I had to turn on hardware accelerator in order to get it. It was using my CPU 100%, and it wasn't using the graphics processor.
And 75% of the people on YouTube are watching it on a mobile phone or pad.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at your videos and look at your analytics, 60% of the people watch mine on a phone.
Yeah, I want it to be nice. Now, don't get me wrong. 1080 and 60 is pretty sweet.
Yeah. One of the things I do too, guys, and I like that last video that I shot in 4K 30 with the hand camera, and I shot some slow motion with it as well, which I know is in 1080.
Yeah, that bison shot was nice.
1080 at 120, and then the Osmo Action. I did a couple slow-mos with that, and it shoots in 1080 at 240. So what I did was I tried to find a happy medium. I set my project up at 4K 60. And I
4K
think
what?
4K 60. And I think everything looked fairly smooth.
It did.
It did.
Yeah, right. Awesome.
But I said I had 3 different resolutions from 2 different cameras that I was shooting in. So sometimes, yeah, when you get that, it's like, okay, what do I set it up as? But I tried 4K 60.
Was any of it 4K?
It was
when
all
you shot it.
The regular video from the camera, like when that bear was going up the hill, that was 4K 30. But like the bison shot, that was at and I want to say that I can't remember that camera. I think it shoots in 1080 120, the hand camera. But there was one shot I used with the Osmo Action, and 1 or 2 shots, and I know when you put it in slow motion, it shoots in 1080 at 240. So like I said, I had 3 different resolutions there. So I tried to find a happy medium to set the project up as. And it seems
there's videos out there that tell you what timelines to use, like your settings and stuff, like 30 FPS and all that. Certain timelines you want to set, obviously with certain timelines, so it doesn't do that flickering. But there's a ton of it out there. I forgot what it was actually called. I'd have to look it up.
But like for a Cyberlink, I watched a ton of videos from the Shopper Turtle and PowerDirector University, and none of them told you all the crap that I just went through on here. Set the project first in your preferences. Second, turn around and go hit the plus sign and change the editing to what YouTube wants. They want, for high dynamic range, 85 megabytes a second. Go to that, so that's 85,000 kilobytes. Put that setting in. And then it'll come out without the stuttering, because mine had jittering in it. If you just use the defaults, you're dead on PowerDirector.
Jim, where did you see the jittering? Was it on your regular monitor or that new 4K TV that you got?
This new 4K TV. Because the regular monitor here is only 1080p. So I'm like, how can you do color editing on a 1080p screen, right? That's my thinking. Am I wrong?
No.
I mean, hell, the TV was only $250. I mean,
Oh, wow. There you go.
It's Walmart. The Samsung Series 6 43-inch. I wanted a smaller one. They didn't have one.
I wanted a smaller one. All I had is 120-inch.
Well, I mean, the big one in the house is 65 inches. I wanted something, maybe 30 to 28, 30, 20, would have been perfect. Because, you can't run inside to watch your video. I mean, you can watch your videos on the TV, but if you're editing on the computer, I'm going back and forth. But when I was watching them, and then because I'm watching them on a 1080 laptop screen, I don't know if that is everybody seeing that jittering, or is it just my eye? You know what I mean? You're questioning yourself.
I ain't seen nothing. Your stuff looks, unless it's shot with a VHS from 1985, it don't look bad.
Steve, I had jittering, didn't I?
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed in watching, anybody's videos, even if it's perfect 4K, like if I'm watching them on my desktop screens here, you've got your default player. You've got to either put it in third or full screen to get rid of that pixeling that goes across that whole screen. And if you don't, you're going to see pixelating going across the screen on just about everybody's screen, the way it's pushing across, because you're trying to look at such, what I want to say, dimension of being, 4K video, and it's being compressed down so small, it starts pixelating throughout the whole entire screen.
Here's another tip. Anytime you're watching a YouTube video, right-click on it and hit Stats for Nerds. And then up in the top left corner, it'll put out Viewport. It'll tell you exactly what you're watching that video at. 1280 by 720. If it's small, if you make the video full screen, you're watching it 1280 by 1080. And then if you're, or if it's 4K, you're going to see it in the full 4K size.
Right.
But when the video is just in the default size, you're not watching it in its full quality. Only when you make that full size are you watching it. And you'll see that if you right-click and hit Stats for Nerds, you'll see what the video was rendered in and uploaded, and you'll see whether it's VP9 or AC1 codec that YouTube used. Most of the time, if you use 1080p 60, you will get the VP9 quality video rendering, which is my WebM made the codec. Bob Casey Spawn. Most people watch on the laptop. And that's another thing. If you hit any of your videos and click on analytics, it'll show you what people watched it on.
Right.
Other people watched it on a phone.
Most of them are on a mobile phone. Probably on average. I mean, of all the websites that I take care of, it runs anywhere between 70 and 82% are on mobile devices. Not even on an iPad or a tablet or, because they'll tell you specifically on it when you go.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they make that, when you put that Stats for Nerds on there, to get rid of that, there's a tiny X with literally brackets around it. And man, is it tiny.
It's easy to see.
Oh, yeah?
got a 40-some inch screen up there. And
Well, on that, but
you can't see it.
it was a pain in the butt.
Optometrist.
Pain
Can
in
you
the
put it
butt.
up on the screen, Jim, so we can see what you're talking about?
Um,
Or you'd rather not?
no,
It's okay.
I can do that. I have to show. Let me share screen. I have to share a screen in order to do it.
All right.
I'm just going to share a YouTube video. Chrome tab,
I can show you the live one right now.
Tuesday Night Tech. Okay, that's the live one, right? It should be. Now, can you see this? Stats for Nerds?
It actually says that.
I've never
And
done
then you
that.
click on that,
Yeah, I've never.
and it tells you that you're watching it at 1196 by 673. Its optimal is 1280 by 720 at 30 frames per second, and it's being encoded in VP9. And there's your connection speed, your network activity.
Yep.
That little X is how you get rid of it.
Hey, Jim, I think Curtis has something he wrote down and tagged Jim so he sees this above and beyond drones. That's not a good argument. You're excluding the other 30%. He was referencing Steve, maybe your comment?
About what type of device they're watching it on?
Yeah, I think
I'm not excluding them. That's just reality. That's facts, Curtis. That's in websites and stuff. If you look at it, runs between about 75% on average. People are watching it on a mobile device.
I still make it 4K when I shoot it in 4K because I'm shooting for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't be long before all phones are like right now. 1440p I think is the normal for phones. The best for Apple phones, right?
I just want to jump in and say, take care, Andrew.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Let me.
Ron's Pizza must have showed up.
I want to go.
Drones. Good evening.
See you, Andrew Silver Fox. Good to see you, buddy.
What the heck I was doing? So we went to the Stats for Nerds, but you can check your own analytics. It'll tell you exactly how many people watched it on a phone, on a it has phone, tablet, TV, or other device.
See, like at Jim, I can't get anything on there higher than 720 for some reason.
If you make it full screen, it'll be 1080, but you've got to use the Roku box.
No, on the iPad. Like your stuff the other day, remember you're doing your tests. I could only get it at 720. But then I went out to the 4K TV and it was at 4K.
I have no idea. All right, I'm hitting the analytics now on a video. I want to see. Is it under audience or reach? Reach shows you where they came from. In other words, Google search, Chrome app, Bing, Pinterest, or Reddit. How I got on Pinterest, I'll never know. Engagement. It must be engagement, right?
All those bikini sites is what you've been doing, huh?
Audience retention. Oh, God. I didn't want that. I just want the end screen audience. Where the heck is it? It's showing me countries, how many people who viewed are subscribers. 97% of subscribers, 2.8 are non-subscribers. Then you've got age. Where the heck is the one for what they watched it on? External YouTube browse feed. Do you see it?
Yeah.
What? Guys, do you see where it, which one it's in?
I'll tell you what, though, if you do take the time to go watch it on your TV instead of your phone or your computer,
Cool.
it's a totally different experience.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing.
Yeah. Before you hopped on, I was talking about Jim's video that he did. And that was like, oh my gosh, you could watching the twists on the high tension power lines
Mhm.
on the cable. I mean, you could just like touch them.
Yeah, you was talking about the picture when I was in Arkansas.
Oh. Go up to audience.
That's nice on TV. It's good on the iPad, but TV's.
There you go. It shows age and gender, countries,
Ron's video was good on TV.
subtitles.
Slow run up.
Maybe that's it.
Slow mo.
They look good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, engagement. Maybe that's.
Even Art's live shows on Saturday and Sunday, he looks good on TV.
All right, where the heck did they put it? They didn't get rid of that, did they?
No, it's there somewhere.
Or Jim?
There. Oh, traffic source. Go down to more. No. Well, yeah, that could be.
Device type.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go.
Mobile phone.
Wow.
55% watched it on a mobile phone. 32% watched it on a computer. 5% watched it on a TV. 4.3% watched it on a game console. And 3.6% watched it on a tablet.
Wow.
I was a TV.
Yeah.
TV.
It's funny. You see this video, it has, I think it says 141 views, right? The other view, but the highest rated video I've got is this same video. Only it's not in 4K. How do we show that? I'll show you something just so you can laugh. Let's go back.
Hey, Mike Kinney. Hello, buddy.
Okay. Watch.
Who's got a TV on?
Look at this. 4,300 views.
That'd be probably me, man.
Oh,
Tell me if that kills it here. Just
oh, there we go.
Yep.
Now, Art, what did we hit again?
I think engagement. Or was it reach? Maybe it was.
You said show more.
I think you have to.
It might have been reach.
Yeah, I think so.
When you're under reach, then you go under traffic source playlist
Yeah.
and then click more.
Yep. Over there to your right.
You're right.
Yeah.
See more. Now go to device type.
There. We got it. Oh, wait. This is
Browser. Device.
type.
There you go.
Now we get the same thing. How can that be if there's 4,000 views?
That's percentage.
Oh, this is all percentages?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 7. Well, it tells you the percentage, but it says 78 mobile phone views, but 55%. I don't understand. If there's 4,000 views,
That doesn't add up.
no. Watch time is only 4 hours? I don't think so.
I didn't realize YouTube kept so many stats.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. It could
that's
drive you
interesting.
insane.
I never even looked at these. Knew they existed.
Where do they come from? How old were the people that watched? It's got male, female, and then gender hours. If
Really?
you were,
Jesus.
yeah, average view duration, average percentage viewed by gender. How long did that female watch it? Look, it tells you the age groups.
Yep.
And of course, we know the traffic sources. channel pages, YouTube search, external. That could be anything, right?
Yep.
Other YouTube features, director unknown, playlists, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, geography. It'll tell you what country.
Yep. Let's scroll down.
That I am all the way down.
Oh, okay, I see.
On this one. Well, you know what? You know what, Art? I'm sorry. It was on the last 28 days. If we do it lifetime, now you get real numbers.
There you go.
Now let's go device type. Okay. Now look, that came down. TV is 51% watched it on TV. Look at that.
Game console, 44%. And tablet, then computer.
Incredible.
Wow.
Some impressive analytics.
It's now at the bottom. Okay.
Mobile phone is the last at 25%. That is incredible.
Wow.
You have to change this the date over
Right.
here. I didn't think about that.
Yep.
That is incredible.
Well, that's because you went back before mobile phones were invented. That's why it was so low.
When was this from? 2017.
Wow.
I mean, look, they'll tell you when you initially put it out, 88% watched it on, come on, let me get right on there. 88% watched it on the computer.
Okay.
And each one of these spikes gives you a different stat. You could go insane. You could literally go insane. Okay, now do I make them for TV or do I make them for a phone?
Well, now we're up into like Chris said, he watched stuff on TV. Where a year or two ago, they might not have watched them as much on TV.
Yeah.
That's
exactly right.
That's because most of the smart TVs nowadays already have YouTube on there.
Yeah.
My Vizio that I have, my Ultra HD 4K, it had the apps on it, but then I put a computer. I was going to build a media center, but then I ended up buying a closeout through B&H Video and the HP workstations. I mean, this thing is only, I want to say it's maybe 10 inches, 10 by 10 or maybe 12 by 12 and only 3 inches thick.
You showed me that.
Yeah, and I dropped in a 2 terabyte hard drive in it. It's got 5 display ports out of the rear. So I just went from display to the Ultra HD HDMI into the set. Man, what a picture. It's just like jaw-dropping compared to 1080, here. And these screens I have are tuned. I tune them.
What is your display port configuration? Is it 1.4? Okay, because remember I found that out. I got all these display adapters. I got a rack full of adapters here. But the computer has to be a display port 1.4 in order to put out HD to the HD TV. Each manufacturer of each computer can do whatever the hell they want with their ports. There's no specification that they have to make the ports to. I could buy a brand new computer right now and the display port could be 1.2, which is standard definition. What are?
And that's a crock.
Yeah.
They should be required to put in the ports. They should be required to put in the version of the ports.
The latest.
Any computer product.
This is an Asus Republic of Games GL702 computer. Okay, it was $2,000 at the time.
What?
It's got a 1060 GPU card in it. The USB-C in this thing is only 5 gigabytes a second, and it's only a data port. So even though it's USB-C, Thunderbolt 3, it is not up to date. It's not up to the 10 gigabytes a second. And the new ones, like Apple has the phone that only has the USB-C in it. That's data and audio video port. That's how computers should be. I had the damnedest time. Steve, how long was I trying to look up the specs on this computer?
We were online for over 2.5 hours the one day, and then we did it again another day, and then you were still doing it.
It's like they hide the specs.
Hmm.
A lot of it's in the cable that you use, though, right, Jim? Like you and I had actually discussed that the other day.
You got to have a high-speed cable, which is 18 gigabytes a second or more.
Right.
But it's the port coming out of the device that's going to control everything. In other words, you can buy the right cable, which he did.
Yep.
But the problem is the port coming out of his computer would not do it, would not provide that output.
All kinds of adapters. None of them work because the display port in this thing is 1.2, the HDMI port is 2.0, and the USB-C is data only. And the specs today, HDR for a high 4K TV, the display port has to be 1.4. Your HDMI port has to be 2.0, A or B. And then the USB-C has to be the data and audio video.
Right.
And Jim's going to have a hot garage sale on a bunch of adapters coming up on a day near you very soon.
Amazon loves me.
It's already outdated when he bought it.
Yep.
It should be cheap.
But you know, if you try and find a computer with those kind of specs, forget the damn graphics card, because this thing only has a 1060 NVIDIA GTX 1060 graphics card in it.
That's what I'm running the Asus as well, laptop.
Yeah,
What's wrong with the 1060?
they're great laptops. But if I wanted to go find a computer with those output specs to output, 4K, blah, 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 that would throw you up into the 3,000 plus for a laptop. Now, if I'm going to spend that much money, why wouldn't I just get a damn tower, so I can, if something breaks, I can change it, put in a new hard drive, put in a new graphics card, whatever.
Because my 1080 will put out, I did find out my 1080 will put out 4K out of there. It will run streaming 4K out of there on the 1080.
Ron has a Samsung Series 6 TV, 4K TV, but he does not have a Roku box. He doesn't subscribe to cable.
Yeah, but
so he doesn't have a Roku box to get him the 4K content.
So Jim, I went through the specs, and like after I talked to you yesterday about that, I went through that. I don't know what else to do. I mean, you buy a 4K TV, you think I can watch things in 4K.
They don't tell you that you have to find 4K content.
Right. Why should I have to buy an additional, accessory? Is what's confusing me.
Well, if you subscribe to Netflix, they have some shows that are in 4K.
Right.
But not a lot of TV shows are going to trade out their $10 billion cameras for new 4K cameras.
Yeah, but like if I'm watching a 4K video,
right,
on YouTube,
yes, it should come up in 4K.
In 4K.
That I don't have an answer to.
On Roku, where do you have that Roku? In your room there, or in your house?
It's in the house.
So
is that a Roku box, or is it on your TV?
I have a Roku box. It's a Roku Ultra.
Because I have a 4K UHD Roku TV. It's a LG TV with the Roku system and all that other stuff in it.
Yep.
All built in. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all built in.
Yeah. See, Ron and I, because this is a Samsung TV here too. It just has smart TV. It doesn't have Roku on it.
I actually got that at a pretty good price.
Ron, if you go into the apps section
Right.
You can download the Roku channel, which has 4K movies on it. I
Really?
just did it last night.
Right. Now, Chris, what do you have on your TV?
Just, I got a plasma TV, if you can believe that. 1080 is it
Okay.
with Apple TV.
Right.
God, that must have cost a fortune when that came out.
It was over $1,500, but it won't go out, so we can go buy a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, we just run it. It'll go out eventually.
My last plasma I donated to my work. It's 8 or 10 years old. It's still running like a champ. They're happy with it up at work. It's a 48 or 50 inch. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
$100 maybe, if that.
50 inch with a DirecTV package all at the same time from Best Buy a long time ago.
I got rid of, in 2014, I got pissed off and I canceled everybody. From 2000 to 2014, 14 years, I had DirecTV and I had AT&T on my telephones. And I was paying $1,000 a year for the Samsung S Note 4 friggin' phone. I threw it all away. I got a $200 LG Stylo phone, and I have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and HBO Go or HBO Now. That's it for my TV. I just watch one of those channels. There's so much content on there, and I hate commercials.
Yep.
I can't stand 20-minute. A 60-minute show was only 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have Roku, but I subscribe to CBS All Access, so I can get the streaming of Star Trek Picard.
Right.
Yep.
But Roku also has the Roku channel,
Yep.
and then it also have where, what is it, 4K Select something, Mark?
It has Hulu, and I believe it has Netflix on it.
I have 60
Fandango.
apps downloaded on mine.
Yeah, there's a boat.
They have Fandango on it. You can actually see movies that were just on the screen out now that were just recently played.
Well, that's what we do. Is I ended up getting the Fire Stick. I got these on sale, $23.
Right.
Oh, nice.
And for the 4K, and
that's the Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah, and you can jailbreak it, and then you can download these other apps. Some are free, and this one guy that he's got this ongoing channel out there, which is it's like every day he puts out different things of different apps that he finds and different streaming platforms on these apps. And one of them he found, there's two of them. One was $5.99, the other one was $9.99 a month.
Right.
$9.99 a month. And the one for $9.99 a month was streaming. I don't know how many channels of HBO, Showtime, and everything else on it that are you pay the flat fee and you getting the streaming off from there from different paid subscriptions. But the one real cool thing about it is living on the West Coast, you could watch, say, NBC to watch if you wanted to watch the Tonight Show on
East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast, and watch it 3 hours early.
We used to do that when satellites first came out in the 80s. We had a satellite in the backyard in New York.
My friend still has DirecTV, and they were on a grandfathered, and they still are able to watch the East Coast feeds, which you can't do anymore. So if you get a new one, you can't watch the East Coast feeds if you live in the West Coast. You only can watch your local stations.
But you got to remember, satellite is over the air. So anything it can grab, and it's only going to grab ABC, NBC, CBS, and whatever's in your 50-mile area. It'll grab it and bring the signal down in both SD and HD. I don't know. Can you get 4K over a satellite dish anymore?
I don't think so.
Not unless no, because the broadcast station would have to. I don't think you can. The broadcast station would have to be broadcasting in 4K, and I don't think there's one doing it.
No, none of the cable companies are even broadcasting much more than, I don't know, 1080 or whatever. But none of them are broadcasting in 4K.
Well, see, Netflix makes its own programs, and of course, in 4K, and of course, movies come out in 4K, Ultra HD. And I was a sucker because at first I was buying all the movies on the 4K discs because I'm like, I'd rather have. But then I've got like 180. Oh my God. There's a thing called Voodoo. VUDU.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we stream all our movies and purchase them.
The
They store
son
in
of
there.
a Al, I've got 200 movies on there. They sucker me in with this buy 3 for $15 package in their HD. And you know who owns that? Walmart.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You saying you got a big X on your forehead, Jim, or what?
Sucker, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think they buy their new super yacht every 2 years?
Yeah.
From me. I go in there and I go, oh man, I remember that movie. I got to buy Jeremiah Johnson. Then I buy Network. Then I buy Soylent Green. Then I buy, you know, all the, you know, the things you can't get.
Yeah.
I bought Kill Bill 2. I mean,
Man.
how the hell am I ever going to watch these again? But I better get it before it's gone.
Out and we can all sit back and watch this together.
Yeah.
Well, if you get Kodi, get KODI. You can program that and you can watch anything you want for free.
Yep. That's true. You could take your old PC and put Kodi on it and turn it into a media center.
Yep.
What does it stream? Does it stream 1080, 720, or
Streams
4K?
everything. Well, does it get
In terms of,
4K art? I don't know.
Well, it depends on if you put a graphics card in there that'll handle 4K. Possibly.
Rich people have just media PCs.
Yep.
Instead of media centers.
You get a Raspberry Pi 4, put Kodi on it, and
oh, that's right. Yeah.
you get a keyboard and mouse, everything to hook it up to your TV and turn it into a media center for $125.
It's true.
What for the people who don't know, what is Kodi? I've never heard of it.
KODI. It's a downloadable program.
Yep.
That has a guide to every channel, show, movie out there. You just have to program it to get that.
Mm-hmm.
You download it on your computer or on your TV?
On your computer.
Yep.
KODI.TV. Found it.
It's a pretty involved. I had it on the computer on the inside because you remember the early days of this when somebody, I don't know who, it wasn't me, used to download movies. I heard of that. I heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, something about a torrent and peer-to-peer. I can't be sure.
so is Kodi similar to the ones you were speaking just now? Is it kind of like that? Kind of.
I don't think it's well liked in the you owe me money community.
Jail. Don't forget the jail word.
You got to find me first. Now that is why they came out with for $20 for a lifetime. I have a RA4W, which is my what is this thing called again? It's my VPN.
I was gonna say you need a VPN to have something like that, so you don't have your IP address out there, your actual IP.
You got to be sitting there, make sure you get a pull aside offshore. But the problem is anymore, your VPNs. You look at the big boys like Express, VPN and all of them. They have a limited amount of IP addresses that they're able to use, to falsify to come up to give you another IP address.
I've got 20 countries, and I just pick which country. Now, when I'm watching the NFL live, I usually am watching it from either London or Rouen, France, because the NFL doesn't broadcast their games live in the United States. Jody says that on the Fire Stick, you can put Kodi on it.
Yeah, I'm just learning about it, Jody. I've been watching this one guy up there, and it was just like, he talks about how you can do this jailbreak, and then you put this downloader app on it, and then you can download all these apps. Like I say, some of them are free, some of them you actually pay a monthly fee for if you want to. But, you know, the price I'm paying for cable here, it's I've got to find another route. I can go up and go to gigabit Ethernet and say spend $100 a month, get rid of my phone and go to UMA and put them over there in an UMA unit, and then run all my business line and home lines on an UMA, and have super good quality for what is it, $6.95 a line a month, and that's everything that you pay for the line once you buy the unit.
Steve, what part of California are you from?
Southern.
Oh, okay.
I'm south of you. I'm halfway. I'm here in Dana Point, halfway between San Diego and LA.
Oh, okay. Nice
right on the coast. If you follow 5 down, right as a 5 looks like it's going to drive off into the water, right there at the turn. I'm looking almost at that turn.
Nice.
Jody says Redbox is a good one. Now, Redbox will also, if you sign up with them for the app on your phone, they will send you a code for a free movie every now and then. I guess it's like once every 2-3 weeks. You'll get a free movie. Is that the
same Redbox that used to be out in front of the 7-Eleven stores, and you get the actual Walmart, 7-Eleven? Okay. Well, I didn't know they had an actual app.
They got an app.
All the grocery stores here have them.
They're still here too in Florida.
I like the Disney Channel.
And I've got Netflix. I've got the streaming, and I get the DVD, so I can get the Blu-ray still on some movies that come out, ahead of time.
What do you like? Say, Chris?
Oh, the Disney Channel.
It's a great channel. I have that channel.
The Disney Channel, and I think Hulu comes with it, doesn't it, Al?
Yeah.
They make a little package deal.
Yep, the bundle.
But I actually got that for to watch The Mandalorian. I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Roger that.
So,
I've got that, and I've watched all the Marvel stuff again.
Exactly.
How much is that run?
It's like $6.99, $7.99. You get 3 channel deal.
Like $70 for a year.
Yeah, it's monthly.
Cheap.
Monthly. I've got Hulu, Netflix, Prime, and HBO. Because I just keep watching this show from 2002. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. I've seen Game of Thrones, but there was another big series they did from Baltimore about all the drugs.
Oh yeah, $6.99 a month, or if you want Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus, it's $12.99 a month.
Was that through Comcast, right? Xfinity?
No, I'm just looking at it online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just put the app on my Apple TV.
The Wire. The TV show is called The Wire. If you ever want to see the war on drugs go wrong, watch a TV show called The Wire on HBO. Actually, you can get it on Amazon Prime too now. It is just a joke.
Jody, are you talking on Fire Stick? You can get Disney too, I take it, huh?
Yeah, Disney Plus. Disney Plus. But that just came out with that bundle. Now, there is a YouTube channel called Cord Cutters that does the cord cutting news. Every day they put out a show. Like I said, because I was paying $125, $130 a month for DirecTV.
Yeah, we dropped DirecTV.
And I said, the hell with this. And I pay $45 a month for TV now. But my cable bill is $75. just to have the cable coming in the house.
Yeah, everything is connected because my wife works from home, so she has the internet connected and all that stuff. The TV's all connected, and we do it all through Xfinity. So it's costly. It's,
internet.
How much, Art?
It's probably about $149 a month. It's pretty expensive.
I get it for $69 a month.
Yeah.
I got the $250 package where it's
that's better than mine.
$250 and upload is about $12.
I get 100 down, 10 up. It might go to 12, but it's 100 down, 10 up for $75 a month, $74.99.
Right.
Which went up since Comcast bought it. What used to be Bright House, and then it was Time Warner. So it went from 54 to 64, and now it's $74.99.
Right.
Same internet. Nothing happened, but a new company bought it.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
I have about a 2-year-old, or it might be a little older, 2 or 3-year-old Roku stick.
Yeah.
Would that work?
That'll get 1080p. It won't get the HDR, the 4K HDR.
So
it's $39, man. Do you want me to send one? I'll tell you what. Give me your email me your address, and I'll send you a Roku Ultra. It's $100.
I'll pay you. Send me the money.
You won't. You're not home enough to watch the TV.
I know.
No, he's working like I used to work 6 days a week. He's doing 2 jobs.
RC Funds is right. All you need is 1080. He says all you need is 1080.
Yeah.
And when I am home, I have days like today. Holy shit! Sorry.
No, but you got the 4K TV. So why not watch 4K, right? I mean, once you get the 4K TV, you're hooked. You're going through trying to find, why isn't this show in 4K? You get mad. You actually get mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on a 6-day weekend starting, tomorrow. Because
you were just on vacation.
Mayor of Denver told all the businesses you got to cut your staff by 50%. So what the company is doing is half the staff is working 2 or 3 days a week, and the other half the other. But we have Fridays off, no pay. But we can take days off using our PTO for personal time off.
Bob, it's like with the older Roku sticks. My original Roku could only get 1080, but the newer there is a Roku Express stick or something like that. It's like $39 that it gets the 4K TV. But the Roku Ultra is actually like a mini computer. It has processors in it.
Yep.
So you get Dolby Atmos, and you get the...
it's like a little hockey puck thing.
Yeah.
That's what I have, and I've had it for,
2 years?
2 years, yeah.
3 years. And it's got this great little button. You know that button, Art?
I don't know.
It's called Find My Remote.
Oh, well, I don't have that problem because I just set it on my table and it stays there all the time.
Got a question for you, Art.
Yeah.
On your days off, do you play piano?
That's a big ass piano back there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a nice green screen.
Yeah.
That's a green screen.
It is.
I know. Just messing with you.
He's taking piano lessons from Bach.
What's the name of that? A Steinway or something?
Yeah, Steinway or Wurlitzer.
Wurlitzer.
Oh, Wurlitzer.
They did the little
you went from up here to
Yeah. No, I don't. With these screwed up hands, no way. No,
you remember when the Hoover
guitar is over here.
the Encyclopedia Britannica salesman? and the vacuum salesman used to come to the door. Was that Hoover or Bissell?
That was
Oh, Hoover, yeah.
yeah.
Hoover.
Mhm.
What'd you say, Chris, before I rudely cut you off?
You're fine. I'm gonna cut out, buddy.
All right, man. Yeah,
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
we'll
Take
push
care,
you.
Chris.
Take care, Chris. Good night.
Yeah.
You too,
Well-
guys.
Have a good night, Chris. Take care.
Hang tough, everybody.
You gonna be on Sunday morning, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be partly cloudy. It'll be live. It won't be a premiere this week, so
I liked your one the other day. That was riding around the farm and stuff. That was pretty cool.
that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I'll do another one now. It'll be green here in about a month. I may do another one.
Yeah.
Chris, what's the difference with the premiere versus just going live? Is there?
The premiere, you just upload a video and you set it to premiere in YouTube, and then the next day or whenever you go on, you can go in and chat with everybody. You're not actually live, but the chat is live.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
It just
that's a lot of fun. You can sit there and interact with everybody,
What do
I
you?
did not know that.
but you don't talk like we talk in the on. We're just typing.
Right.
What do you device you use, Chris, to live stream?
Usually when I live stream is my Phantom 4.
Well, your Phantom, but like the other day when you were on the ground, what did you use?
I used my Mavic Mini and I used my Osmo Action.
Oh,
So that sunrise was from the day before, and you premiered it. Is that
No,
what
no.
you're saying?
Last Sunday was a premiere when I was on the farm,
Oh, okay.
and the video before was some of my sunrises and sunsets over the last 3 years that I made. I threw them together and made a little video and put some music to it.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's hard to
Mike
catch you
Penny
guys
says
live
do
streaming.
another one, Chris.
All my live streaming is with the Phantom 4, Ron.
okay.
Sitting in the cab of my truck talking to my iPad.
Oh, okay.
That's what when you hear me talking on my live streams, I'm sitting there talking to my iPhone or my iPad that morning.
But the other day you said you used your Osmo Action, though.
Yes, but it wasn't live.
Oh, it wasn't live. Oh, I thought it was live.
The premieres are not live.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's what I didn't understand, Ron.
Yeah.
Premiere's
No,
just a regular
I-
video.
I-
You'll upload it and just get it ready to go in Premiere. You'll go ahead and upload it, and it's ready to go. And you can set the exact time, date. In other words, Chris could go make a movie here and say, well, I want this to play a week from tonight, and I'm going to put it right against Jim's broadcast right as he comes out.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be there.
But
But
then,
The
If
premiere,
you are there, then you can chat with everybody in the chat line.
Oh, wow.
just like we are right now, except this won't be live here, but the
It'll be
chat
the
is
video.
live. The video is recorded.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did that on one of my other videos. I think it was one of the RoboMaster videos I did that with. I thought, that's kind of cool.
Nice
That's
chat.
not a bad idea if you want to explain your video, right?
You can sit there and chat. Everybody can ask questions, and then that's what happened last Sunday. You know, a couple of guys asked me, "What are you doing with the empty gun rack?" And I said, "Well, it's on my hip." You know, and I crashed my Mavic Mini. You know, I edited my video to make it. It crashed. I'd admit it. I threw it into a pine tree. And you know, I explained that. And at the end of my video, I showed them the pine tree, how high it was up when it hit it. And it's good to me. It's a little more easy to interact because you can watch the chat when you're flying and
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
you get took away from the chat. And I always go back and try to read the chat and then apologize for not saying hello to R.
I had to buy this Rodney Bell contraption. It comes, it holds up my other Samsung, Chris. I only call it the Rodney Bell contraption because it's a $10 X brace
I had one of them. I loved it.
on a $20 tripod.
Yeah.
That sits there and holds my Samsung Tab A. So while I'm on my iPad live streaming, I can see the damn chat. Otherwise, I couldn't see the chat.
Well, I'll take a picture one morning when I'm in my pickup I've got my iPad sitting in the steering wheel, flying a drone, or my iPhone sitting in the steering wheel. Usually it's my iPhone. Then I got my iPad sitting here, and I'm sitting here. I can see the chat, but you still can't watch the whole chat.
No,
Somebody inevitably just slips in and says hello, and that's it. There's no more conversation, so you miss that.
Yeah. I'm sitting here laughing because Paul's writing up here. That's what I did from Texas, so my live New York was on time. Except there was only one problem, Paul. You slept through your own premiere.
Oh, did he?
He did. We were out at the bridge, and I'm calling Paul, going, "Where the hell are you?"
Oh man!
And I go, "You slept through your own premiere."
He was wiping the sleep out of his eyes.
I looked for his. Where the hell are Paul's drone bums? Where are his shots from Philadelphia? Where are his videos from Philly?
I still got to get mine up.
I was fixing to say I haven't seen any. To be honest with you, all I've seen is the lives that morning, and
Yep.
Perfect time to do it.
yeah,
I get some goodies.
Yeah, all I remember, and he's sitting here laughing in the chat. All I remember going, "I'm on my way there."
he was real proud because he didn't miss his sunrise.
Mike Kenny asked if you could stream from the Osmo, live stream from the Osmo.
Well, they're saying
the
yes.
Osmo Action. I would think you could.
Yeah,
I think
Mel
did something. Mel did something.
Mel
on that.
did.
Yeah, I'd say, didn't Mel do something with that?
Yeah, but Chris, does it still work though?
As far as I know, you just need your RTMP key and some kind of a screen recorder off your device. Be it D recorder or I can't remember there's 2 or 3 or 4 other ones.
StreamYard.
Camerafy?
As long as it's a screen recorder, you can get
Prism is another one.
and broadcast to YouTube. Yeah, Mel's got a video on it.
Here's my question. Okay, you got the recorder on, you got your camera on, or whatever your device you're using,
right?
And you're using the the Wi-Fi from the device to the
camera.
Yeah, and then you gotta do the camera to a phone or tablet.
So you need a second device.
And how do you get that second Wi-Fi out? Because I've been trying to do it, and I can't do it at the same time because they're both using Wi-Fi at the same time. What am I doing wrong?
That's like with the regular Osmo. I have to connect to the Go app. Oh, the Osmo Action doesn't have a Go app.
No, the Osmo Action is Wi-Fi.
It has that. It has the Mimo app, but it does go into the Mimo app. It has that Wi-Fi connection. Whereas the Pocket, I think you have to buy an extra piece for it in order to get it synced up with your phone.
My Osmo Pocket just plugs into the phone. I don't know Wi-Fi connection, so you can screen record.
Now that's
it's a hard connection as opposed to the Osmo Action.
That's what I have to do. I'm using an action camera that has Wi-Fi. I hook up. Say I'm using my phone,
right,
and I'm using the app on my phone to connect with the camera.
Right.
Okay.
Now, how do I connect to the internet?
Cellular service.
That's right. I'm trying to use the streaming app so that I get stream the live to the internet. It won't let me do that because I'm using Wi-Fi from the phone, and I can't use the Wi-Fi to whatever.
You have to switch it to your cellular part.
Oh, okay. And how do I do that?
We just turn
Wi-Fi off, right?
Yes, turn the Wi-Fi off. However,
he can't. He has to use the Wi-Fi to connect to the Osmo Action
or whatever,
or any camera, and then he wants to stream that.
That's got me curious.
How does he do it?
Yeah. Now, if I have a cable, I can hook up the camera to the phone, and then I get live.
Right.
1-800 mail. coat.
Now I've tried, and he keeps saying, "Well, you gotta do this." I go, Mel, I did that. It doesn't work. And he just, I'm not
the
going.
Osmo, Al,
What was that?
Paulie's saying, can you hardwire the Osmo?
No, you can't.
No.
Oh.
It's Wi-Fi to the Go app, and then from there you would have to stream through RTMP.
From the Go app, whichever.
But I don't think that feature is on the actual Mimo app for the Osmo X. It's not the Go app; it's the Mimo app.
You're right.
Yeah, there's no live screening feature on there.
For example, if I'm using a GoPro, and I have a GoPro with Wi-Fi, I got my phone, and I want to stream live, I would have to hardwire the GoPro to my phone and then the stream. You know, like you said with your Osmo Pocket, it hooks up to the phone. Then you get live stream with that. It's the same thing if I use my Mavic Air, because my phone is hooked to the controller, and it sees what the camera sees on the drone. I get streamed from that, and I've done that.
I get exactly what you're saying, because I've asked you a few times, how are you streaming your on-screen display?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what you're saying is different. Okay, I understand that. If I take my camera and Wi-Fi connected to my phone, how the hell do I now stream?
Your Wi-Fi is busy,
right,
with one device,
right.
So that frees up your cellular device. You'll still get a phone call on your cell phone, so you're going to broadcast on the cell service.
Oh, okay.
But how does he connect to it?
Yeah, that's
connected to it already in the phone. The phone's already connected. It's
just how you could connect to the live stream.
He what? Right? He opens up YouTube.
Yeah, but not YouTube, but the
streaming app like StreamYards or.
And we use EU recorder is what I keep saying.
Recorder or multi-sim live.
StreamYards doesn't work on a mobile device. It only works as a guest.
Streamlab.
Yeah, Streamlab.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
And I think that's what Mel was doing.
Yeah.
But he didn't say that, did he?
No, he didn't.
Don't quote me, but I can't see. You cannot, unless somebody's smarter than I am, and I'm not real smart on this stuff. But you can't do two Wi-Fis.
That's right, and that's where I'm getting at. And I don't think
it.
Mel is
Wi-Fi, and then you go to broadcast. You're using your cellular service.
Well, that's
so you're going to have to open up in your browser on the phone another app, or
that's where the Streamlabs app comes into play.
Okay,
because it'll say go live. It'll give you a choice to go live to YouTube or go live to Facebook. You pick YouTube.
Yeah.
And I guess the protocol, they shake hands, says, okay, you're broadcasting.
Right. Well,
I think.
I tried that and it just says, well, I can't get a Wi-Fi signal. So how do I tell the Streamlabs to
use your data?
I don't know, Art.
Okay.
Yeah, that I don't.
Well,
in my thinking, it's when you don't have a Wi-Fi signal, it should go straight to your cell service.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll just do a YouTube search on.
You might watch it, or I don't do it, so I may have to investigate it.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, Jim, I got a scoop.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. We've been on for 2 hours, man.
Yeah,
keep trying to put these things down.
Thanks for having me on here. Tomorrow's supposed to be a nice warm day, so I'm going fishing.
I took all my batteries today and took them all down to 8%
Chris.
for reset.
See you later, everybody.
Thank you,
Chris.
Bye.
Well, I'm glad they joined us tonight. That was fun.
I'm lucky I got in here, Jim.
Oh, you guys don't know. Ron had a water main break in his house.
Oh no.
Dude, I had a major crisis. I called Jim at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. So I ain't gonna be on tonight. I was all out of breath. I was running around like somebody, the drone reviewer.
What happened?
Did your pipes freeze?
What had happened was on the left side of the house is the water spigot, you know, for your outside water.
Hose bib.
And apparently, you know, I went out there I turned the water on and instantaneously noticed I have
Manhandled it, didn't you?
Pardon me?
Did you break it?
No. Oh, I turned it on, but I noticed I have one of those hoses that retract, you know, when they empty out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I noticed it's not filling up. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. And it's 60 degrees out. And my whole purpose in going out there was I wanted to, there's a lot of dust and dirt from the four-wheeler. I'm like, I had taken everything out of the garage. I was going to hose down the inside of my garage. And I've got this piss poor water pressure. And I'm like, this is weird. So I got a kink in the hose. So I walked around the side of the house. No kinks in the hose. I'm like, something ain't right. And then I went back to the spigot, the nozzle, and I noticed underneath the siding of the house, it's just dripping. I'm like, oh, something's wrong here. This is not good.
I've had that pipe break.
And I know that spigot, it goes in, there's a crawl space under here. And if you guys could have been here, wish I would have had like an Osmo action or something.
Were you ripping the wall off?
No, but I come flying ass in the house and get halfway into the kitchen. I do a Nancy Kerrigan triple galooly with a half twist. My entire kitchen and half of my living room's underwater.
Oh shit!
And I'm like, mother, you know what?
Yep.
So my first instinct, get out to the garage, get to the breaker box, turn the water off. And so then I get into my bedroom where you actually have access to get into the closet and the crawl space. And I opened up the trap door to the crawl space. All I could hear is water. I'm like, oh, this is not good. But here it was coming through the wall. Apparently on the side of the house, there's where the spigot is, there's a hose that goes into the main, I guess we call it the main pipe.
Your supply line.
The supply line, but it actually goes through the wall. So where the break was right where it was going through the wall.
Yeah.
So now it's if it would have been past the wall, it would have been all leaking in the basement. But it broke in between the outside wall and the inside wall, right where it broke. So now it's leaking into my house. And I'm freaking the heck out. And I go out there and the breaker box is very poorly marked. So I shut off all the breakers. I didn't know which one controlled the water, and it's still not marked out there. So, yeah, I had a bunch of water in my house. So
I manhandled mine, and it twisted the pipe, and I got the handle in my hand.
Oh.
And water shooting like a son of a bitch. I had to shut off the main. Now I broke the pipe inside the concrete block. Hammer and chisel. Run down to Home Depot and get the copper pipe now and get a torch kit and resolder a new thing on. And a $4 can of foam, and shoot that foam into that wall to fill up the concrete block. Then you got to, it's an ordeal. That's why I said, did you manhandle the thing?
No, the break was in between the nozzle and the water main in the basement. So it's only about a 3-foot hose. But in between the outside wall and the inside wall, which is only, what, 6 inches?
Yeah.
The break was.
Wow.
So now it's broke in between.
But was it PVC or copper pipe or what?
It was like a, not PVC, but almost like a hard, not quite hard, or I don't know what the heck it was. But I live in a rental place, so I get on the horn, called the property manager. I got to admit, I got to give them kudos. Man, they were on it. They said we have a maintenance guy and we have a what they call it, a disaster restoration company on the way. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
shit. You know,
They don't want any more damage from the water.
yeah,
They vacuum up the water?
yeah. Matter of fact, I was out there with when I was talking to you, Jim. When I called you, I was on the floor of towels.
You could hear in his voice that I just kept saying, "Okay, Ron, okay, hang up, go do it."
Get the hell off the phone.
Yeah. I don't know why something just told me, hey, Jim, I'm not going to be on tonight, you know. And then, matter of fact, when I came on with you tonight, the doorbell rang. It was the owners of the house. And they said, we got a phone call from the property manager that said, you called, you're a little bit of a panic. I said, yeah, the damn living room was filling up with water. It was a little panic. But so for an hour and a half, I was out there with towels, and then I got my steam cleaner. And the different, you know, like throw carpets and stuff I have, I'm up there sucking up water. So I've actually got three carpets out hanging out on my porch. But yeah,
You got a box fan or something that you can run?
Pardon me?
You got a box fan?
Yeah, actually, the restoration company came. They in between the living room wall and the bedroom wall where you'll stay. Water got under. It's really neat. They have this little device. It's only got 4 or 5 inches long, and it has a couple little prongs on it. But he can go up to the hardwood floor and the walls and just touch them and push a button, and he can tell if there's moisture in there. So he said to me, he's like, "There's water at the bottom of your wall." So he's got this big ass fan in the guest bedroom. Yeah. And no, the living room's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I was working pretty hard, dude.
Ron, are you in South Dakota or North Dakota?
South Dakota.
And it was 60 degrees, huh? Wow.
Pardon me?
And it was 60 degrees?
Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty warm.
Oh, yeah. We actually had a fairly mild winter. Yeah, it was a beautiful day today. The sun was out, and yeah, great day. Yeah, I had a little crisis right before the show here. We still made it on, though. Got to give me kudos to being a trooper.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
dedication, Jim.
That's where you tell the performer before they hit the stage, break a leg. He almost did.
I did break a leg. Yeah. I did, like, when I come into the house, I could hear water. I'm like, oh, shit. And I come running across the kitchen, and I didn't see it. And I'm like, yo, you know, my legs are up in the air.
Nancy Kerrigan, what made you remember that?
Yeah. I should have had an Osmo action. That would have been pretty spectacular footage. 4K 60. That's slow-mo, you know. Yeah.
Hey,
I think Ari says he got the symptoms.
I was going to say something. Didn't you find out today 2 people you know?
My sister was tested positive, and her partner, he's in the hospital. And unfortunately, she went to go see my niece and her kid and her husband in Florida, in Orlando, and they tested positive. Wow. But yeah, it's crazy. Where she works at Yonkers Raceway, she works in accounting, and I guess one of the trainers passed away. Health department came in there. They closed it down. Like a week after that, another additional 2 people have passed away. So I think the root of it started there at Yonkers Raceway in their main building facility. So yeah, it's crazy when it gets close like that, or like Ari, unfortunately, it becomes surreal.
Yeah.
You know, Jim, I agree with you. I really wish they would have done stats like this last flu season.
Yeah, because every year, I looked it up, 0.1% of the population dies from the flu. And so to panic is absolutely ridiculous. You cannot cure the common cold. You cannot cure a virus. You can't cure. You got a better shot of curing cancer than you do of a virus and the common cold.
One of the things that this virus is being killed by, from what I've been reading, number one is sunlight, and number two is citrus. So go outside, drink lots of orange juice or lemonade or something, not high in sugar, and that'll help you. But
those oranges are made in California. Those oranges aren't coming from Florida anymore.
They're not here.
I was gonna ask Ari.
We're building on that orange grove.
Ask Ari in the chat because I've heard this and I thought it was a rumor, and I asked my sister, did he lose taste and smell, the ability to smell things? Because my sister said she freaked out when she was eating stuff and she couldn't taste what she was eating, and the smell, she couldn't smell certain things.
Well, don't
and
you
that seems to be a common.
Don't you get the regular cold symptoms like
no,
your nose
she didn't. She didn't have any of the symptoms. She just had the actual no taste
fever
and a little slight fever. Cough wasn't like very bad, but her partner was the complete opposite. In fact, he's in the hospital right now.
You can't even get a test in Florida unless you have pneumonia.
Well, yeah, I think she had some of the signs or something like that, and then the fact that she had the story where she was in Yonkers Raceway and those people passed away, I think they tested her immediately, and then those who were connected or she's seen in that 15-day period. So,
that's smart.
Yeah.
Well, you know, who was asking about Mike Kenny? Well, in 2017, 2018, 61,000 people perished from influenza for the 2017-28 influenza. Of that, 860,000 required hospitalization. Of that, 56 or 57 million people came down with influenza. And that's just in the United States. That's not the world.
You got 278 million people here.
Yeah. And what was not funny, but I mean, I actually loved it. I went down to Costco and you go in there and they've got these pallets stacked up. So you're like going through a maze on the outside. So there's a cart corral there. The guy's cleaning all the handles and they give you the cart.
Yeah.
Then you get in this maze and you walk your way in through and you're saying
the maze of carts?
Huh?
The maze of carts you have to go through before you actually get in the building.
Pallets. They're pallets.
Oh, okay.
They set up all these pallets. You know, like you go into you get one of those little kid things where you enter and you got to find your way out.
Yeah.
It's like that all the way down. You get through. You went into Costco. There was like nobody in the place. I'm sitting there going, I hope they do this next flu season. And I was talking to the cashier. He goes, they're talking about doing this for the next flu season regularly too. I go, so I'm standing outside. I'm 6 feet apart. There's fresh air moving around. You're not in close contact. Went in, did my shopping and got the heck out. And it was unbelievable because they're helping you unload the stuff. They tell you, only put the light stuff up on the counter. We'll take it from there. And they took the cart and you just hold your card up. And even at checkout, you'd go hand them the register receipt. Oh no, you got to hold it up. And then they just look through it and they just went, that was it, and out the door. It's probably the most precise checkout that they've had in decades.
Yeah.
This is definitely this changed a lot of things. Just kind of like 9/11 did.
Yeah.
Why are we echoing?
Yeah. This coronavirus came to my advantage today. I went to get my hair cut today.
Yeah.
No, wait.
My girl, Emily, good to go. Good to go. A place in Rapid City called the Man Salon.
Really?
You can buy beer and eat peanuts while you wait for your girl to, be available. And I go to one girl, Emily. Anyhow, Emily had one person in front of me. And there was nobody. I was the last person in there. So Emily spent more time with me. It's the place where they take your time to cut your hair. They rub your shoulders, rub your head.
Ooh.
Give you that little vibrator and massage your shoulders. Oh, dude.
That sounds. Hey, I gotta get one of them.
Yeah.
We don't have one of them here.
Well, Jim,
Everything's closed over here.
I'll hook you up with Emily when you come to Rapid City.
My stepdaughter got told from her work. She works at a place called well, it's a fast food deli. They call it a deli, but it's like a Carrabba's or a Pantera bread or something like that.
Right.
That kind of setup. And she was told that that Walmart is hiring, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" And says, "Well, the state's got us shut down. It's takeout only now in Florida."
Yeah, we're getting
so you're putting all these people out of friggin' work, man. And the Democrats aren't passing the give the guys $1,000 so they don't die act. Come on.
Yeah.
How are you going to pay your mortgage?
Yeah.
And you know who doesn't care? Let me tell you a true story. When I had my back surgeries, who doesn't care is Florida Power and Light. When I was 20 days late, they told me, go to your church. Yep. They'll shut your friggin' lights off. They do not care. And Ari is joining us.
Hey, you hear the litany of conspiracy theories?
Yeah.
There was a book in 1981, sci-fi. But I think it was Dean Koontz, and he wrote everything almost verbatim as to what's happening now. The
Sylvia
person
did
who
too.
leaked
I put it in our Facebook page.
Wow. I don't do Facebook, so wow.
Our Facebook group.
Hey, on that note, guys, I'm gonna roll. I gotta go out and bring my carpets in and see how they're doing, and they're still hanging out on the porch swing. Jim, thanks for having me on.
All right, buddy.
Ari, good to see you, buddy.
Hey, we only have 10 people here. Should we stop the broadcast or just talk among ourselves, or what should we do?
Yeah, but
Go for it.
Al, someday I got your number. I'd like to find a day that you're kind of free and not crazy and busy. And
I'm Ron. I'm off for like 3 weeks and probably longer than that from my day job. I'm working telecommuting from home, but it's only like a few hours.
Okay.
So I'm available anytime after like 2:30.
And
they got our school shut down.
I'm in California.
2:30, 1:30 my or 3:30 my time.
We're an hour earlier.
Yeah.
We're out on the left coast.
Yeah, some evening now, maybe you're not real busy. I'll put you up on Skype on the iPad. Yeah. I want to bring Final Cut if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, you know what? The fun I told you the other day. I put it in a chat, and obviously you didn't see it, but I used a Duet app. I don't know if you ever heard it. It's like it mirrors your screen, so I'm able to take Final Cut Pro, and it pops up on my tablet, and I can actually edit on the iPad Pro using the Duet app. Yeah, and then you can a hard connection. It's free, and if you want to use the Air Wi-Fi, you have to pay. I think it's like $19 for a year.
Really?
$1.99. Yeah, it's actually not bad. I was actually editing on my iPad Pro using it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Definitely. When we have time, we can hook up and I'll definitely go over that for sure. Yeah. Show you what at least I know.
Yeah, that'd be great, dude. I appreciate it.
Hey, you see, Mike Kinney says gas is $1.40 a gallon. It went down to $1.96 here.
Yeah, it was buck high 80s, buck low 90s here.
Why the hell would gas go down?
That's California, 75, Northern Cal. I don't know what it is.
This whole thing started with this economic situation for the stock market because of Saudi Arabia and Russia. That's why. Look at the price of a barrel of oil. It's gone bottomed out.
75% of the oil workers in North Dakota, up where I work, out of work.
Yep.
Over 75%. Yeah. It's ugly.
Especially now with no one going around and being able to travel too much.
Yeah. Guys, I better run. Jim, thank you again for having me. And bye, Ron. And
take care, Ron. Call me. Text me whenever you want. Any of you guys. You have my number.
Yeah. Good seeing all you guys. And hope everybody's well. Have a good day and good night. And we will talk to you soon.
Take care, Ron. Good luck.
Go blow dry your carpet.
I'm going to blow dry my carpets. All right, guys. I'll see you guys.
Later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Curling iron out. You make a shag.
There you go. Yeah. See you guys. Take care.
Take care.
Sorry, what's new with you, buddy?
Oh, nothing, mate. I'm a bit average, but I'm okay. Just thought it was quicker to jump in on the panel than answer questions in chat. I'm too lazy to type.
What's your
You're doing fine.
So what was that, Jim?
What's
I'm
your
sorry.
temperature?
It checked at about 39 yesterday, with 37.6 being average. I'm a bit throaty, and as you can see, my eyes are slitty because I got a pounding headache. I've had that for a couple of weeks. Abdominal pains, a little bit of a runny nose sometimes. I honestly don't think I have COVID. I might. There's a few of us in the family with similar symptoms. The abdominal pains are a trigger. But, I isolated the kids 10 days ago, and we assess every trip out on its own merits. But, I could have it. Look, I'm feeling okay, better than I thought I would if I do have it. And essentially, I'm just playing the game. I could jump up and down and say, "Oh, I'm fine, I can go out." But if everybody does that, some of us are going to have it.
Exactly.
So, I may not necessarily stay home for the next 14 days. I might go out to some isolated place and fly a drone, but I'm not going to go near any other people for 14 days.
Right. If people
That's
did
tough.
that, you know what? There's a thing here. It's odd. Like if you're like Al's a teacher. When I was doing my paramedics, I worked both on the ambulance and in the hospital. You can't call off. Like, who's going to take your place? That ambulance is going to be waiting for you to get on it and be on the road. It's like they tell you, if you feel ill, stay home. You can't stay home. Your job would fire you.
This is a big thing here in Australia at the moment. The government's been merely mouthing about closing the schools. They have a big television conference. They put 2 million people out of work yesterday alone.
All our schools are closed.
In a population of 25 million. But they keep saying, the advice is that it's safe to send your children to school. It's not. Yes, young people don't get particularly ill, but they can spread it. It's what it's about. It's keeping the economy and the country running. And if they have to sacrifice tens of thousands of us to do it, they will. I understand that. I just wish they wouldn't lie to us. And now the teachers are up in arms today because they got secretly briefed that most of them will probably catch it. And here in Australia, I don't know if it's the same in the States, but something like 70% of our teachers are 50 years of age or greater.
Al's a teacher.
Yeah, so it's worrying. What some people have suggested, and it would make sense to us, is that in every family group, because over here the government is throwing a lot of money out, billions and billions and billions in stimulus packages, and it's good. But what would make sense would be simply for each family group to nominate one member or one couple to stay home and look after the family's kids, and the government to support that one family, so the other 4 or 5 can go to work. But they won't do that. They'd rather just lie to us, and it's not going down well with the populace. I think the governments underestimate people. People can deal with pretty much everything as long as we know where we're at.
So there's no order. There wasn't an order for a shelter in place in Australia.
As a matter of fact, we're about to enter stage 3 restrictions in the next couple of days. They've already closed all the food courts, all the restaurants, clubs, pubs, casinos. Maximum of 5 people at a wedding, maximum of 10 people at a funeral. Not allowed to have dinner parties, but you can still open the schools. And essentially, they're about to enter stage 3, which will be close down all the shopping centres. So you'll have to order your supplies by delivery. They're getting pretty serious, but they're a bit
went
confused.
to Walmart tonight. I can still go there.
And fuel, someone was talking about fuel. If you were to do the conversion, we're at about very close to $6 a litre. $6 a gallon US, $6 US a gallon, and it's ridiculous. It's profiteering.
Wow.
That is crazy. I thought California was bad.
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself.
If it's $2 in Florida, it's $4 in California a gallon.
Go to Europe too. Just about anywhere in Europe is just like what Ari has. The prices are ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
when it hit the peak, oil was, I think, $65 a barrel, and we were paying about $1.75 per liter, and I think the conversion is about 3.8 liters to the US gallon and 4.4 for a British gallon. And then you take into account the currency conversion. Well, since then, oil's dropped from $65 to about $20 per barrel, and they say that it's supposed to drop 1 cent per liter at the Bowser. So theoretically, we should be at a peak of around $1, and we're 50% more than that again. And now our dollar is worth, I think, about 52 US cents. We've plunged about a third of our value. Yeah, so things are bad, but that doesn't stop them getting their pound of flesh off us.
Well, in the U.S., a gallon of gas is 25 cents. The rest of it is state tax, federal tax, excise taxes, park taxes, your local city taxes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very much same here. Fuel and tobacco products. Not that bothers me. I'm not a smoker, although I do think it's a bit unfair. It's, I think, about 85% of the cost is taxation here.
In California, we got that. What was it? 2019 in January, we got hit with a 7 cent. Then we got hit with a 14-cent increase, and this year it'll be up to a total of 50 cents a gallon on top of the normal state tax. This is something that
didn't they increase it too, Steve, for roads, to fix roads that they've never fixed? At least not around here, they haven't.
That's what they said. And then Newsom just took $5 billion out for his Green New Deal. And guess who is the contractor for that train still? Feinstein's husband, $1 billion contract.
Holy, are you kidding?
Yeah, we get reports here in our media, US politics. I'm sure you don't get it on Australian politics, but US being the world superpower with China at the moment, and we're all a bit dismayed. The people here who talk about it. Look, I've made no secret. Trump is pretty much universally despised outside of the United States. It's not. I know that in the US it's split down the middle. Outside of the US, he's considered to be a joke. And but that said, what's her name? Pelosi. This is the woman who's stopping the stimulus package going through. That's unconscionable. Their rationale apparently is that the Trump administration is not passing everything that they want, so they're going to hold up what there is. Wouldn't it make sense to pass what there is, because part of something is better than all of nothing, and then fight for the rest?
Don't forget, Ari, it's an election year in the U.S. here.
Yeah,
Ari, you're right, but there's only one problem. There's one thing that you're not putting into perspective. You're using common sense, and you're talking about people that work in government. That was sucked out of their brain before they ever took the oath of office.
Well, this shows how much people have changed generationally. Now, I don't know about here, but about there. But here, the Prime Minister is talking in the terms of we are in a wartime situation.
That's here as well.
Right. Well, if you go back to the last global war, World War II, they had unity governments in most countries. So politicking was suspended, and the major oppositions were incorporated. But now here we are in 2020 in that sort of footing, and they're still playing politics.
We had the Lend-Lease Act with Britain before we were ready to get into the war.
That's how America gave its biggest contribution to World War II. I'm a bit of a historian of the era, and this is going to be a little. It's going to.
Look at how looking at me. You don't know what the Lend-Lease Act is, Al?
I'm just listening.
Britain only paid off the last of their debt in the last 15 years, but the war wasn't won when the United States joined by the Allies, but it had already been lost by the Axis. They lost the war when they invaded Russia. We, as in Britain, Australia, the Commonwealth countries, Europe, would have eventually won the Second World War without US troops. but we would have lost it without the US manufacturing base and the Lend-Lease Act. That was the biggest thing. If you guys had kept that up, we probably would have taken till 1948, 1949, but the Second World War would have been won with the manufacturing support of the US. The fact that you sent troops was just the added bonus.
Well, we weren't ready. We didn't have the wherewithal to go into. We didn't have the defense companies back then.
America's always been a bit isolationist. First World War, Second World War, and this is not critical of today's America. This is a historical aspect. You know, the average people in the US before the First and Second World War took the attitude that it's a European war, and we don't want to send our kids to die in a war that's not ours. And they kept that position until basically the war did become the US's problem.
All right, but you're also talking about a time when people, if they could, they got a newspaper. If they could afford it, they got a newspaper. Not everybody had a radio in the 30s.
I'm only talking about history. You know, you can't. I get very annoyed when people revise history in the light of today's values. You can't do that. People were different people, and it was a different time. You know, I'm just talking about historical numbers, if you like.
Because I don't remember anybody caring in 1929 during the stock market crash and everybody lost everything. Everything.
That was a worldwide thing. We had it here. You know, I think everybody was busy saving their own ass at that time.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, the U.S. involvement with the West, U.S.
Well, the Treaty of Versailles is what was used, right? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Was used as the example to bring Hitler to prominence. I'm going to make us famous, you know, great again. Like,
well, Al, the teacher, I don't know what his view. I don't know what your specialty is, Al, but my view on the
it's
world
not history.
My view on the world wars is there was not two world wars. There was one world war with a 20-year break in the middle. The conditions that the Allies imposed upon Germany at the end of the First World War guaranteed that there would be a Second World War.
They were brutal, yeah.
They enabled Hitler to rise to power.
Right.
If Germany hadn't been put in such a horrific position, Hitler would never have gotten support.
This is true.
You know, my family were living there at the time. You know, the last surviving member of my family got out of Germany in the late 1920s, and any that stayed didn't make it out.
It's just disgusting if you think about it in a genocide kind of way. Disgusting that it went on as long as it did.
Yes,
Austria, Poland, France. I mean, they all just got run over.
We do get a bit of tunnel vision about it. I mean, I'm Jewish. Everyone goes on about the Holocaust, and that's true. But, you know, it's along with the Jews, it was anybody with an intellectual disability, the homosexuals, the Jehovah's Witnesses, the gypsies. You know, there was over 1 million gypsies that were exterminated. It's history is very selective, and generally speaking, what is highlighted in history is what
they changed the books. They literally changed the books and leave crap out.
I'm horrified what my kids don't know.
Yeah,
I question them about these things, and they're not taught at school. And the old saw about being doomed to repeat that which we don't remember springs to mind.
Well, why isn't religion required? Religion should be required. It all started with the Crusades. This is my point. We're going to start wars to bring, right? To make the Muslims Catholic. All that. This shit's been going on forever.
Religious history, yes. I'm uncomfortable with secular schools. And let's be upfront here. I have a strong personal belief. I don't push it out there. I'm the patriarch of my family, but I don't shove my beliefs down anybody's throat. And I am uncomfortable where, I don't know whether it's a case in the US, but in Australia we have many religious schools that are private schools that are funded heavily by the government when the public school system is short of resources. And primarily these kids in a lot of these schools are not taught the normal curricula. The primary focus is upon the religious agenda, and that's just guaranteed to cause a separation in society.
Private schools here are not connected with the state. They're private. There, and especially in California, it's not like the East Coast, because I went to private school in the East Coast. It was more your traditional Bible studies, the Roman Catholicism, doing your confirmation, your communion, or communion confirmation. Over here, it's completely different. You send your kid to private school so he can have a better learning and learn how to do certain things like coding and things that are like, you know what I mean, encouraged in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley. So it's a little different. And then you have your state schools that are ran where they have issues with the kids showing up to school. And if the kid don't show up, then the school doesn't get money for them. And there's districts like my district where it's based off the taxes of that area, and the homes in that area are over $1 million. So those schools get tons of money, and the kids learn like the private school, and they learn to have the coding classes, and PE is not looked upon like a class, and it's more of an educational thing. But religion, that's completely out of the question in the public school here in California. It's not even spoken.
The teachers has 100% control over the curriculum, anyways. Anybody who doesn't think they don't, I'm sorry. I know you're a teacher, but it is. The unions have control over it.
Not here.
They're going to put
the unions are the unions are also different for every district. They're not like a Teamsters union is kind of like, countrywide. You have the Teamsters, and there's different sections of it. Well, the union for the teachers and the classified employees are based off the district. So you have your union, like your 301 or all that, but the district and the union reps mandate the rules and what to do and all, and along with the board. So it's a little bit different out here.
Because what's being taught today compared to when I went to school, I mean, it's just like the history and background of a lot of common sense education in order to get a rounded education. Yes, we do need the coding. We need we need to keep up with high tech, without a doubt. And it was, God, how long's it been now? 15 years ago. We had a high school that opened up over here in the town of Aliso Viejo. And it was the first of its kind in Southern California. It was a high-tech high school, to where I'm an electrical contractor, and we specialized in low voltage and fire alarm systems and cabling, networking, and everything. Well, it went out to one company where the morning, like Pledge of Allegiance and everything back at that time. Now, the video department, or shall we say the AV department, what we used to call, now it's the computer high-tech labs and videographers and everything. It was all broadcast live to every single classroom, with screens in every single classroom. And now it's not like you're going to the library to put it up. They had media retrieval decks in all these rooms that you could pull up at that time, even Encyclopedia Britannica, World Book, and everything, and the teacher could pull it up right there on the set and recover that stuff right then and there. And they did a whole broadcast on it.
A little bit of a segue slightly, but still related. And I'd be interested in Al's perspective teaching in the US. Do you not think that we've moved away from a focus on the basics, which too far? Kids are coming out of school without the basic requirements.
It's funny you mention that, Ari, because the kids I normally deal with are special needs kids. So you teach them the basics of life. How to make food, and how to manage your bank account, how to find a home, how to find a job. So all the economics. So mainstream kids, when I was in the high school setting, would come talk to these kids, or in the class during a lesson, and they would be like, "How come we don't learn this?" Yeah. And it was just the basics. But like I said, nowadays, especially around here, it's all about the science encoding, computers. That's pushed.
But the problem is, even coding, they're teaching coding, but they're not teaching the basic mathematical requirements. Now, what Leanne and I, we have taken in 4 fosters over the years, and every single one of them has needed help with basic numeracy and literacy. And I'm not talking about advanced levels, which, I could help them with. I'm just talking about day-to-day mathematics, how to balance your budget, day-to-day literacy, how to read a menu, how to write a resume for a job. They retired me early.
How to sign your name. You don't have
write
to
on a piece of paper.
You don't have to be taught cursive.
Oh yeah, you would have crippled
my son didn't. When I showed him how because my name is written uniquely, so that nobody can ever copy my name. I know immediately if I see my name, if I signed it or not. My son goes, "How do you do that?" Holy shit! I didn't know he wasn't taught that.
Jim, we have teachers coming out of Teachers College. I was told this and I thought it was a lie. It's true. We have young teachers who've come out of Teachers College, apparently totally qualified and approved, who have difficulty telling the time with an analog clock. If you want to ruin a kid, you want to ruin a kid today, tell them that they can drive down the road in your car and give them a stick shift and then write out the instructions in cursive script. The basics all gone. I used to volunteer at my daughter's school and they had me doing the remedial kids. I was appalled because
they forget about those kids.
For my classification, they're all remedial out. They can't spell, they don't know any grammar, and they can't do long division. That's remedial, in my view.
In California, it's all about the standardized testing and how the school scores in those testing. And back when I was in New York City, I had trade classes, metal shop, wood shop, and you had all those things. Now here in California, those things are not given anymore. You have to go to a certain school if that district provides that, and it's not even provided. It's more the coding and the computer classes and the trade schools where kids probably would wind up and who are not doing well in class and doing good in that type of curriculum. They would probably excel in those type of classes, and they're not giving it to them. They're forgotten about.
That high school I was talking about, one thing they do, because I was going to go back to Jim's point here, they did two other, actually 3 other curriculums there besides the AV. The one was auto mechanics. All 3 of the major dealerships donated all the equipment there for them, and when they come out, if you go through the whole entire class for your time you're in high school, you can come out with what is it, the AIS or AIC certification for auto mechanics coming out of high school.
Yep.
The other one is design for home economics, but design and fashion design and stuff. And the other one was culinary. Taco Bell, which is, fast food taco shops here, they donated all the equipment in there, and it's self-sustaining. They create the food is sold at the cafeteria along with the other cafeteria food. It's all super healthy foods and everything, and they actually show a profit every single year since they've opened up.
Steve, my granddaughter is homeschooled since 4th grade.
Right.
Since I had to go in, and this 4th grader, how old is that? Anyway, she had to call her teacher a doctor. And she told me this, so I went to the school. The kid thinks this is a kid, a 6-7-year-old kid, only knows a doctor as a doctor with the white coat. Right. But this friggin' teacher got demoted that she wanted the 3rd graders to call her doctor. That was it. I took her. She's been homeschooled ever since.
Yeah.
And now she knows drones. Shit you'd never learn in a school.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everything's gone. We had electronic shop, auto shop, wood shop. I still have the napkin holder I made my mother in 1970. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that crap anymore.
Yeah.
As a generational group, people our age, we always put a lot of, we diss the millennials and those either side of them quite heavily. But, we have ourselves to blame for their attitudes. If they are entitled, we brought them up believing that everybody gets a medal.
We bought them the crap.
Be whatever you want. You can start off, on $150,000 a year. My son is a good example. Now, he's not in any way silly. As a matter of fact, he's very smart. But he's dyslexic and has graphorrhea. He has trouble getting the thoughts from the head to the paper and back and forth. Very computer literate and whatnot, but he's never going to score highly in formalized exams. And over here, I don't know whether it's the same in the US, we are screaming out for tradesmen. If you have a trade over here at the moment, you can write your own ticket. There's not enough. And we have people with 2 and 3 university degrees unemployed.
Yeah.
But we can't get enough plumbers, mechanics, auto electricians, etc., etc. And some of our
unemployed with a lot of overhead and student loans.
Yeah, a lot of our tradesmen are earning more than professionals. And I said to my son, because here, if your child wants to leave school before 18, you've got to sign off on it. I said to him, son, if you want, I'll ring around my contacts, I'll get you an apprenticeship, and I'll sign off to you to leave. No, he's been brought up to believe that if you don't finish school and go to university and get a degree, you're a failure.
Listen, call a plumber. They start at $60 an hour.
Yeah.
Or a pipe fitter or something.
Electrical foremen's here, because I was in the union, IBEW, and that's where I went and served my apprenticeship. They're now making not the full package. I'm just talking hourly rate. They're making 47. I think it's $47.60 an hour, and then compensating your health and packages and retirement and everything else onto it. You're pushing at least another $20 on top of that.
The trades will always be alive. If you can swing a hammer, you're going to make money.
Some of the most well-paid people in Queensland are one of the less than 15 blacksmiths we still have.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, they separate farriers. They're the people who do shoes for horses, etc. And blacksmiths. Blacksmiths do wrought ironworking and, the higher levels of it. We have about 10 or 12 left in the state. And, we're several times the size of Texas. They are backed up 3 or 4 years in orders, and they're raking in hundreds of thousands a year. But, no one wants to work in a hot, smelly environment, and all the kids are brought up from the time they're little going to school that if you don't go to college and get a university degree, you're a failure.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, most of the businesses anymore. I mean, one of the big companies here, like for us in Southern California, and Irvine is the Irvine company. Originally, the Irvine family owned all this property. That was all the ranches that goes from the coast, going north and south, all the way up over the local foothills to the other side, going in what we call towards the Inland Empire. To get a job there is just I'm going to go in as an assistant, for an employee. So secretarial skills. You have to have a BA, number one, a college, Bachelor of Arts degree coming in, number one. Now some of them are requiring a master's. Well, I never got my BA, but with my background and experience, like you're saying, in a trade, and it's a shame your son may not want to go in that route, because some kids are not going to make it in college. They're just don't like it. They're bored with it.
We have to accept that not everyone is temperamentally suited for that. And why? I'm not a dull knife. I'm of average intelligence or better. I've got 4 trade qualifications. I did 2 of them in the standard way, and the other 2 I got through what they call RPL, recognition of prior learning. I had other skills that I'd picked up here and there, which I only had to do a course or whatnot. I get bored really easy. I've never worked in any of those trades for long, full time after qualifying, and went into special projects, etc. But the bit was that while I was working, I could always get a job if I needed to.
That's the thing. And today we're robbing the kids of that. If your hose bib breaks, they don't know how to fix it. They don't know how to take a propane torch and melt the solder on to the copper pipe, or even put the PVC together. Now they got to call a plumber. These trades, they used to be taught in our schools. They are not taught anymore.
No, that's right.
They can't even change their own oil. They don't know how to.
Or change a tire. Ari, when you were talking about the clocks, we had 3 schools here, because the company I had, and I had a partner, it was my license, and we had it as a partnership. We did a lot of schools. We did a lot of our work around schools. They built 3 new schools within the first year, exactly what you were talking about, trying to be able to read a clock. They put digital clocks in all the classrooms. They came through, we gave them a bid, we went in to take out all the digital clocks,
Wow.
put an analog clock up on the wall because the kids could not tell
time.
analog time.
Yep.
And the school district paid for that. I mean, it was out of their own coffer.
I realise that it might be considered to be a depreciated skill, but surely the coronavirus has pointed out to people that our little world view of how things are always going to be is not necessarily true. Things can change. One of my trades is as a telecommunications technician, and I'm an advanced class radio amateur, a hen. I keep an old valve rig here, 60 years old. Yeah, I've got plenty of solid state stuff, and I can fix it myself within reason. But I still like, what is it? Trust in Allah, but tie your camel. And it's no harm in learning to tell time with an analog clock, or read cursive, or drive a manual. It's
Anyway. Trust but verify.
It's just like that. You show that to a kid nowadays, and they'll say, "What?"
Well, then, what we were saying before, we're the ones who spoiled them. We're the ones who bought them that phone at age 10. I mean, what the hell were we doing?
You want the best for your kids. That's what you want.
Yeah, you don't want to disadvantage your own kid, and you don't realize that you're adding to the burden, really.
It's one of the reasons I stopped coaching high school football. A lot of the parents were expecting their kids to wind up in a Division I school when their kid was 5'8" and they couldn't even run straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, are you serious? But they felt like everybody was entitled, and their son was entitled to get to university to get a scholarship that way.
And
it's
that's
crazy.
Participation award crap.
Yeah, it's unpopular. Man. Jim. It's unpopular, but it's true. Failure builds character and resilience. By telling people that you're going to win every time, what's the term Lloyd uses it? Wallflower? No. So anyway, we're building a generation of kids without resilience and toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you screw something up, you learn how to do it correctly. All right? I mean, when I say manhandled the hose bib was created in 1980. To me, that's not a long time ago. But to the house, it's 40 years ago. So when I twisted it, the damn pipe just broke in my hand. You know what I'm saying? But when the water came rushing out, Jim knew to go over there and shut the main water hose off, the main house water off. That comes in at 30 PSI, which is normal. People don't even know how much their water pressure is supposed to be. These are basic things that you learn in life.
The attitudes are wrong, and we're to blame, and it manifests in a lot of different ways. It used to be when we were kids, if we were playing on the swings and we did the wrong thing, we'd fall and have a buster, and that would teach us not to do the wrong thing.
That's now the mark where the truth has come through my lip from getting hit by the bar swinging around. So yes.
Now it teaches them to close down the playground so that kids don't get hurt. Not good. I know that it's happening more in the United States, but it's happening here, with your spring break and the current COVID-19.
Used to call that, I'm interrupting because I want to get your view on it. We used to say that that's because America has become such a litigious society that Mrs. Jones will sue because her kid got her tooth knocked out from the play yard. But what is it really?
No, I do agree. For the last 25, 30 years, the rest of the world has laughed at that about America, that people sue for anything. It's become a bit of an outside joke in the rest of the world, but it didn't stop us following down the same path. Right. We're doing exactly the same thing here now. It's ridiculous. I've been in situations where I could have sued, and don't be stupid. Life happens. People are actually frightened. I don't understand why it's going this way, but it is. And until we've got all these kids on spring break, and we're a week away from the Easter break here. We have 2 weeks off. and we've got all these kids saying, "Oh, it's not going to spoil my holiday. I'm still going to the beach." You know, yeah, the poor kids, they're ruining their senior year. Well, if you go back to the 1960s, mate, a lot of kids spent their senior year holiday in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I'm not commenting on the validity of the war or whether anybody should be there. I'm just saying that's how it happened. You know, our grandparents, our great-grandparents were asked to go off to war. This generation are asked to stay home in the holidays, but that's too much.
Yeah.
And look what we created. That war created a great economy, but it also created Rosie the Riveter. It also created the two-family mother, father have to work now in order to afford that car, that chicken in every pot, that car in every driveway.
That's actually where the rot started, in my opinion, Jim. I can remember a period of time. I was born in Southeast Asia before the Vietnam War. My father was there from Korea through to Vietnam. We fought 5 wars in Southeast Asia before the US arrived in Vietnam. And but you know, I can remember when
you do remember the Korean War for the US, right?
No, I'm a little well. My dad wears the presidential citation, the US presidential citation for service in Korea. You know, I can remember Dad on corporal's pay, which was pretty good in Southeast Asia. You know, we lived in a 2-story house, and I had an ama, and we had a maid, that sort of thing. But the point was, even when we came back to Australia, my father could support the household, buy a house, buy a car, pay the bills, and everything on one wage, leaving my mother free to run the household. Now, I'm not going to buy into this gender stereotyping that mother has to stay home. All I'm saying is...
But kids had morals then.
Bingo. One parent could support while the other parent engaged in the really important stuff of making sure the kids had a grounding in ethics and the real world.
Your kids are getting taught by the daycare people.
Taught? Don't you mean indoctrinated?
Yes.
Yeah, and it is. It's a shame. It really is.
We could force that. We could force that again. You know, with that feminist movement, if they just turned around and said, you know what? We're not going to work. We're going to raise our kids. That's it.
Well, I was going to ask you.
It's never going to happen. That never
It could happen, though. I mean, it could.
It could, but it won't happen. Not here. Not in the left coast.
California. Al,
our administrators are all women.
But
I don't want to sound like
kids. What do you teach, Al? May I ask?
Special ed. I work with mild and moderate students who graduated from high school, and we get them jobs. We get them out in the workforce. We teach them everyday learning skills and how to get to work. You know, they don't drive and stuff like that. So, you know, to teach them the layout of the local area, the community, and kind of like, you know, move them into adulthood.
Is it me, or is there a lot more autism going on now? Is it just become more to the forefront, or are there a hell of a lot more autistic kids now?
From what I see, I see a lot of Asian kids and a lot of Indian kids, and I don't know if it's where they're coming from or whatnot, but seems like a lot of them are diagnosed as autism or somewhere on the spectrum.
Yeah, I don't think the incidence is any higher. I just think the diagnosis is higher. You know, back in the 50s or 60s, those kids were given different, less flattering, unprofessional terms to refer to them. You know, and now, I mean, one of my fosters has been diagnosed with Asperger's. To me, it just means that he's not quick on the uptake. You know, 20 years ago, I would have just said, "Gee, he's a bit oblivious to people, isn't he?" But now he's
Asperger's here.
Yeah, now he's got Asperger's, that sort of thing. I don't know what to think about it. They definitely need a bit of help, but I'm not sure that we're helping them by giving everybody a label. Everyone's got to have a diagnosable disorder. I think that's
there's a book, a DSM. It's called the DSM. If your doctor does not put the correct code number on your friggin' piece of paper, you're not so much as getting an x-ray. And if he screws up, you're getting the bill because your medical insurance ain't paying it.
Yeah, it's not good, mate. Just jumping back to the thing. You know, I should have. I didn't mean to say that the US hadn't been there. Basically, though, you know, being here in the South Pacific Our guys didn't go home really in 45. We were still on the ground when Korea kicked off in 50.
Hey, the Marines were at the frozen chosen Incheon, brother. The
And then
38th parallel. We've been there.
When Korea kicked off, you know, at the end of Korea, our guys were still there. We did the.
We're still there.
So we, mate. You know, we did the Indonesian confrontation from the 50s through to 61. We did the Malayan emergency from then through to Vietnam.
Why don't you take over? You guys take over. Send us all home.
We did the opposite, man. We you know, we pulled out of New Guinea in 1971, and they weren't ready. You know, even just today, they've made a big plea to us for assistance with COVID-19. And it's not our colonial values that make me say that we pulled out of New Guinea too soon. They weren't ready, and they say it themselves. You know, in 1971, when colonialism was a big hot property, we got our asses out of Papua and New Guinea, and we basically left them in the hands of the Indonesians and in their own underdeveloped infrastructure. The poor bastards. That was unconscionable. So yeah. As far as look, we don't need to send you home, mate. We just teach your guys how to do it. That's watch Jim now.
Tell a Marine that.
Well, mate, you know, here in Australia, we consider Marines are about as good as average. We consider the Marines are about as good as an average soldier, and I wouldn't want to tell you what we think of the average American soldier.
You'd never know if they came and killed you. There's a little thing called the unit that was developed in 1979. Somebody drops dead, you don't know who did it.
Oh, mate, we have those, but our average soldier will be.
We don't have it.
We don't have anything.
We don't have it.
No,
When Jimmy Carter, now kids don't know this. Sorry, kids. When Jimmy Carter fucked up the Rapid Deployment Force to go take back the 479 U.S. Prisoners that were taken by the Iranian students, okay, all the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, everybody had to be involved in this Rapid Deployment Force. When they all crashed and burned in a sandstorm in the desert, there was a presidential decree for something called the unit that you will never, ever hear of again. That's it. It's called the unit. They take care of these problems around the world, and there's no names, there's no base, you couldn't even tell by their military records.
Well, in this day and age, Jim, that sort of operation here, as I am sure there, is generally devolved to civilian contractors, because the government can't be involved with that sort of thing, you know.
Well, we had that scandal too with Blackwater.
That's it. I know a lot of the guys who are in Blackwater. I worked with a lot of them at the time. But, you know, this is not just a US problem. It's worldwide, Britain here, everywhere else. Too much politics in the
Jody's a youngster too, isn't he? John Schatz?
Taking him behind the shed, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, politicians need to get the hell out of the military. Once it's handed over to the military, the politicians should shut the hell up and stay the hell out. They've already failed. They've handed it over.
What do they know? You know, we elect my dentist became a congressman. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
What the hell did he know about politics and all that before? We just didn't like the last guy, so we elected this idiot. And there's no qualifications to becoming a congressman.
Hey, no, there's hope. There's hope. Go to bartending school.
Yeah.
We can get you a job as a congressman against a female bartender in New York.
I don't get it. And you know, I lived in New York for 34 years. It's the most sickening democratic state in the country. Second only to California.
I was going to say second to California.
Would you try to help me with something? And I'm serious. I'm not being funny. I am unaware. Over here, we have, you know, the two major parties are called Labour, you know, which, you know, you'd call the socialists, sort of the left, and Liberal, which are the right. And they each have their own factions from far right to far left. In the US, you've got Democrats and Republicans, which are, they're not really, but which are socialist and which are right wing.
But you would be called a Republican conservative, which is what I'm classified as. But
okay,
your views are Republican conservative.
I'll accept that.
And I think even Steve's are and Al's are.
So you would really like Trump, Ari?
I don't like him, but
He's a hell of an administrator. He is an excellent administrator.
it's got nothing to do with his politics. I just feel that he is
Dude is not a politician.
racist,
You don't know the first thing about politics.
racist, misogynist, a liar, without principle, dismissive and rude to others.
I think he's it's transparent. I think he probably doesn't have the presidential etiquette like those in the past, so people don't see him as a president.
And
Ben's
every-
not a genius.
and
He's
every
not a lifelong
politician-
politician.
And every politician that you spoke of, like Pelosi and Schumer and all the rest of them up there,
They
made
have an agenda.
the same exact comments, the same exact race of remarks. And now with the internet, it's not just Trump that's getting the Pinocchio nose. It's every single one of them.
Steve, definitely. I didn't make my judgments on Trump based on anything that anybody else said. I did quite a considerable amount of reading about it. But
The dude's come from
I'll give you-
bankruptcy and everything else. He's been in the streets.
I'll give you what you said, Steve, without any argument, and that's the same here as there and everywhere else. For the last 50 years, there's been an endangered species which has all but disappeared called the statesman. We don't have statesmen anymore. We just have politicians.
Yeah.
You know, Roosevelt, Churchill, Curtin, Chifley, they were statesmen. You may not have agreed with their politics, but they knew how to disagree with you without setting the entire world against you.
They
And
can
they
make
do
sense
that
to you.
on-
We'd be nowhere without Roosevelt right now.
They knew when it was time to stop playing the game
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and to get on with the job. I mean, it went to hell after Roosevelt. Truman.
Truman.
He
Truman was
was,
the last one.
was not, historically speaking, I don't even know, I honestly don't know whether he was Republican or Democrat.
Well, look, that's where Social Security came from.
Roosevelt.
Don't start me on that.
Yeah.
Everybody asks, now, I am conservative, but everybody asks, what do I get for my taxes paying Social Security? I'll tell you all what you get. You get to sleep safely at night. Any of you who feel differently, and I'll tell you now, I may be old and I may be broken, but I'm still damn dangerous. I would take from you what I need to feed my children 11 days out of 10. And if you stopped me, I would kill you.
Yes, so what are you saying? I don't get it.
Well, that's what Social Security prevents to the larger degree. You do get the criminal element, but they will always be there. The average poor, if you just give them enough to keep a roof over their head and some clothes on the table, they'll leave you alone. If you don't give them anything, they'll come or they'll attempt to take yours. Now, whether you can stop them or not, you don't want to do that. You don't want to live in that life. That's what you get for paying Social Security. You get peace, you get security, and you get the knowledge of knowing that you did something good for the poor guy.
It's a pittance.
Yes,
It's
it
an
is.
absolute pittance.
It is, but it's usually enough to put a bit of food on the table.
Here's a problem that we have. Our statesmen, our Labor Party and our whatever your other party is, you called it, they don't get the same rules. See, they will never be on Social Security.
Of course not. Agreed.
They have their own retirement system. It's I don't know how did we let this come about?
Same here. If they work for three, sorry,
They're not a part of the. They're not a part of the same health system either.
Right.
They have their own.
we have a great health system here. Okay, I would be stuffed without it. We have Medicare. Nobody here in Australia. We might have to wait 2 or 3 years for non-essential surgery, but no one goes without what they absolutely need. We're great. But we have the same problem as you have with your politicians. We have guys here, politicians who are retiring at 40 or earlier because they only have to work 3 years, and then they can retire on a pension of 60% of their wage.
How
Forever.
many years is it here now, Steve? It used to be one term, right?
Yeah, it used to be one term. Now I think it's 3 terms.
Okay, so that's 12 years,
I think. I'm not positive on that.
and they retire for
Hey,
life on their
I don't want to
salary.
interrupt you guys, but Jim, I got to get off this thing. I've been on
I
here
know,
for 3 hours and 13 minutes.
We've been trying to stop, but then we
Sorry, guys.
No, it's good. It's interesting talk, man. I could be on here longer, but I don't want to get in any more trouble.
I know. I got the look too. I
Your
got
family
the
comes first, Dal.
I'm getting text. Oh my
look.
God.
Please watch.
Hey, Jim, thank you so much. You guys
Hey,
take
man.
care.
I love you, Al.
Steve, thank you. You guys are awesome. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Stay safe. Stay well.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Care, God bless.
Guys, we got to wrap it up. I'm
Yeah,
even
mate.
I'm getting the evil.
I'm sorry I arrived late, Jim. I woke up late. I checked the iPad and saw a notification and came in.
I emailed you.
I know, but I wasn't awake. It wasn't until I went looking in the email after I arrived here that I realized I already had a link.
I got to get better at this, Ari. I emailed like 10 minutes before 8 o'clock. I'm going to get better, I promise.
Well, now I know also I sometimes muck up the conversion between US time and here and with the different states. I now know that my time, you're on 10 a.m., on the Wednesday, my time. So I'll remember that now.
Yeah, but then you got to really remember, and you got to go back in time in order to be on the show.
That's it.
Oh, it's a day. Yeah, that's a day.
It's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday o'clock here. All right, guys, take care. I am actually sweating. I'm going to go back and lay down. Take care, everyone. Good night. Thanks, everyone. Still in the chat.
You get well. Stay well.